SWOCBC, what are you doing here? This is a combat zone. It's restricted. Ease off on your main thruster and head over to patreon.com/SWOCBC for episodes of our all-new series, Inside the Insider, where the gang explores articles from every single issue of the official Star Wars Insider fan magazine in order and get an even closer look at how Star Wars and its fandom have evolved over the years. New episodes with each public upload months earlier for patrons. Red 24, Red 30, follow me to patreon.com/SWOCBC for the latest episode of SWOCBC. Inside the Insider today. In target range. It's ahead. All ships jump to light speed.
The Star Wars Old Canon Book Club is made possible by contributions on Patreon. Head to patreon.com/SWOCBC for ad-free episodes, reading guides, movie and TV episode audio watch-alongs, and more. Today's Old Canon fact of the day comes from Star Wars, the new essential guide to weapons and technology by W. Hayden Blackman, first published in 2004. Carbanti United Electronics is a prime example of the value of specialization. Rather than trying to compete in all fields of electronics, Carbanti has focused almost exclusively on manufacturing sensor systems. Carbanti has ensured that its products are used in nearly every starship across the galaxy by working closely with Carillion Engineering Corporation and other top vehicle designers. Today's selection is Star Wars: The Original Marvel Years, Volume 5 by Marvel Comics, and whose final installment was first published on July 17th, 1984. Enjoy the show, and may the Force be with you, always.
Kako Crispa. That's a sound effect that lives in my brain. Guys, welcome back to part 2.
What?
Somebody will know. I don't know.
Kako Crispa?
It's gotta be from Star Wars.
I love my Kako Crispa cereal. In the morning with my blue milk.
Okay.
Kako Crispa.
All right. SWOCBC.
Breakfast of pod racing champions.
SWOCBC homework.
Slimo Creepo.
SWOCBC homework. Tell
Slimo
me what
owes
the
me
fuck.
like credits, dude.
Go on
that guy's a
Patreon.
fucking
Always does.
Yeah.
Go on Patreon and tell me what the fuck Kako Crispa is. I think it's from a pod racer.
Slimo Creepo is like, if you're a dude, you got those friends that are like, they're tight as guy friends, but they're not good people.
Right.
They like do bad stuff.
Slimo
Creepos.
Yeah.
Slimo Creepo is when there's like 5 glup shittos around talking about characters that they don't like from
king
Star
right?
Wars. They're like, it's like a fucking Slimo Creepo.
Yeah.
Welcome back to SWOCBC. This is part 2 of Marvel Comics, the original series, Volume 5. So if you're listening to this and you're like, Volume 5, wait, we were on Volume 4. There's one before this. Go listen to it. We went halfway through Return of the Jedi. We're going to start with the
Wait,
second.
you're calling it Volume 5?
This
Not
is Volume 5. This is Volume 5, Part 2. This is Volume 5.
Oh.
5 of 6. We are one away from the end of the Marvel years, which ended in 1986. So right now we're
What
in
are we, 84?
84 or something like
think.
that, yeah. And it went from like 77 or 78 to 86.
Yeah, 77 and
Doing this in 2 parts, aside from the obvious benefit of me being a slow ass reader and it being helpful, is it leads to like just really funny moments where like the first part ended as we just got to Return of the Jedi, and we were talking about that Ellie issue where we're like, okay, it's more serious. It's more whatever. Like, is this the beginning? And
We
no,
were wrong.
nope,
We
it's
were
not. It
very
just like
wrong.
goes hard back to the same nonsense as before. But it did make me be like, yeah, I think we even talked about last time. Like every time we're like, are they gonna like do something with all the new stuff? Not really. They're just gonna keep doing it the way that they do it, and they're gonna like, I guess. They keep bringing back their own characters a lot.
Let me tell you about this, because I don't think you actually got to read this, but maybe you did. I don't know. In the back of this issue of this Epic Collection,
No, I didn't get to read the cool interview.
in the back is a interview that's from Marvel Age. Did you read that?
No, I have the online stuff.
Okay, so yeah, so Marvel Age was like a sort of like fan. It's like 25 cents, and it's like the like seasonal fan mag for Marvel Comics and stuff. And so Star Wars, the whole point of the interview was with the team on Star Wars, the Marvel comic, talking about what their plan was now that they're past Return of the Jedi.
And it's to go back to before.
No.
Like they're like, we don't really know what's
We heard
happening.
you like Danny.
Well,
Bring Danny back.
Yeah, no, but actually, literally, yes. This is at the end of the book on purpose to talk about what's coming next, because the first story literally takes place. It was just a story that was left over that they wanted to do because they thought it was a good story that was like that was set prior to Return of the Jedi. That was the Princess Leia one, right? So
Actually, that one I kind of
Yeah,
that one I kind of like.
but that's what I'm saying. Like they liked it enough to like.
But that's not the first one we get.
No. But these other things I'm saying are not really big, huge moving part stories yet. They're just
Sure.
kind of like their own little things. And I think the point is, here's what they said is, yeah, like it kind of I think explains why this kind of went away, because they're like, yeah, I mean, the questions are like, what are you going to do now that like the villains are dead? And the first thing they say is like, well, who says they're dead? And I'm like, huh? And then they're like, yeah, I mean, you know, it's not going to be it's going to be at least 5 years till there's another movie, because Lucas says he's going to take like a 2-year break at least before he starts work on the next ones. And the next ones are going to be prequels, according to George. So we're open seasons on the end. So who knows who's coming back, who's staying. And the fans like love all our like recurring characters that we made up. So we want to finish
Is
off
that
our...
true, or is that just them saying that?
I don't know, but the... Yeah.
Disney...
Right, I know.
Saying, I know that the
It's
Marvel
not-
back
it's
then
not
wasn't
Disney,
Disney, but it's like, oh, everybody loves this. Is like, I don't believe you.
My favorite part
You
is
can't be relied on for your own.
them being like, yo, we're going to bring back characters. Who knows if someone's dead, who's not. The people we get are like Darth Vader with tits.
Yeah.
We get like
It's
more
like
Danny
Dot,
with
it's like
more
Dot
flute.
Matrix from Spaceballs.
For how much Danny is brought back, I almost believe that they sold well. It's just like, not. She just is not a good.
She's just a horned up red woman.
Actually,
She's
their
just
whole
hot.
like Rick, that whole crew is like,
They're funny.
they're also just like a Team Rocket type where I'm like, okay, you're just like here for shenanigans.
They're almost like waiting for James Gunn to like come along and like tell them that they are all friends or something. Like they have nothing going on. They just come and they show up and they just are.
and then they leave with Fluke.
They do their little
get on board.
Yeah, they do their little bit that they always do. The same exact energy between all
Every
of them.
single time, yeah.
And then they just blast it off again. But yeah, I don't know. Back end of this, I was surprised again how much stuff comes together. I will say, like, you never think they're gonna like come back to these characters because of how ridiculous everything kind of is. But then, like, what else are they working with? That is the comics.
It's also weird that this is a collection ends on not an ending.
yeah. I mean,
like-
yeah.
It's a weird place to end the collection, but it ends on like next
cliffhanger.
time. Yeah, it's very weird.
Well, I mean, you know, one of the Star Wars movies pretty famously ends like that. So
Yeah. I mean,
it rhymes.
they were still trying to
see
do
that.
it. They were still trying to do it. Is my
Episode
point.
5, the fifth volume ends on a like. Come on, it's right there.
Damn, dude.
We also know now confirmation that they were already talking about Imperial remnants,
Dude, yeah, they use the word remnant.
like in the comic, and it was a big part of their plan in that interview to like continue talking about.
Is remnant
happens.
a term used? Like, does it?
Yeah.
Does it come from history? Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Nazi remnant or something?
Well, I mean,
I don't think those guys were there was. I don't think there was a huge problem with the Nazi remnant, but like
Yeah, but conceptually, yes.
They became America's scientists. Sorry, I just did the whole MK Ultra thing.
This would be more along
on
the lines of,
Illuminati.
like,
Plug for
a
the
wonderful
podcast
show.
that I've guested on. It's a
yeah.
pretty cool podcast.
Let's get our huge audience
This would
over
be
on
more
the
like
Illuminati.
Rome, or when like you have like a massive empire, and then half of it's still around, but the other half completely fell. Like that kind of vibe.
The Imperial Remnant being a thing makes so much. You don't even have to sell me on it being a thing
Right.
because you're like, it's the unit. Like it's
based
so
on
big.
size. Yeah, just
you're
based
like a
on
little
size
rebel
and volume.
fleet. There is no centralized government now, and everybody like wants to be the thing. Like though it's written from an earlier time, the episodes or the issues here where they go and talk to people, and you have like people that are like in league with the Remnant or doing their own thing. I'm like, this actually all checks out. Like this is not even a stretch.
Yeah, and I actually, this is something that I wanted to make sure I talked about today. So thank you for reminding me. Is like,
You're welcome.
hey, yeah, man. The thing that's crazy is like, I was thinking that Heir to the Empire was going to be this big sort of like reboot. You know what I mean? Like, I thought it was going to be kind of like a new take on what was going on because of how different Marvel Star Wars feels and how different Lando and Han Solo's like solo books felt compared to like, you know, what we get in the 90s. But pretty much fully formed is the exact entire night. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if before this comic ends, Luke starts a Jedi school.
The things they do in Heir to the Empire are just sort of like good logical next steps. So it's not like groundbreaking, but also they did talk about in one of the previous collections where they were like, we were just like riffing, and it's wild the things like, were we prophetic in the way that they took stuff or whatever? So like there are things that they do.
We might not, my point is we might not even break continuity.
Well, no, so we do. The thing that's interesting about it is,
I feel like we break continuity.
Yeah,
I mean,
volume by volume.
In small ways, yes, but I think like intent-wise, I think that we might reach a point where it feels like that universe is intended to be a continuation of this.
So the Heir to the Empire, when that book comes out, it is along the lines of this. But then after Heir to the Empire, people go back and we get other books that take place before Heir to the Empire that straight up erase the comics.
That's true.
But Heir to the Empire, when it comes out, technically there's nothing to say the comics aren't accurate.
Right.
But once it's out and once people start going back and filling in blanks because they're only focused on the books, not the comics.
It starts to sell. It starts to get
then
popular.
They start to remove the comics, at least the Marvel comics, from existence.
They start to see those periods as times where things had to happen.
I think that's when we get like Courtship of Princess Leia.
Yeah.
And things like that.
That's
I think
like
those
mid-90s stuff, yeah.
Yeah, but that's like after,
There's a big splash.
The Thrawn trilogy, but before it technically.
And Kevin Anderson comes in, and then a couple of, they always have like, in their like phases, they always bring in like a couple new guns to go along with the people that have been doing. It's really interesting, like when I was making the schedule, just to see like, oh, like eventually they start to like have a media plan. Like pretty soon after this.
I think the Sisters of Dathomir are before the Thrawn trilogy.
What is that? What is that called? The Courtship of Princess Leia?
I think it must be. I don't look. We'll get to it and we'll figure it out.
There's a lot. There's the Truce at Bakura too. That's like set at a weird time. Like I don't know.
Which originally I think Truce at Bakura is technically what they ended up doing for Jakku.
Yeah,
really.
Right, and then we get fucking what's it called too? Shadows of the Empire, which is like actually
that fucks. It's
great. It's great, but it actually replaces what we see here, like straight up.
I was the right age for that all to just be the coolest thing at the time, and I'm so excited. Like
first game I bought
didn't have
N64.
a concept of like a multimedia. I didn't know about that they made an actual like orchestral soundtrack for it at the time.
It was great,
and I'm excited to go into it and treat it like that now. Like I'm excited to, with an adult brain, go through that. So, but that's
also
like
one thing that's going to be hard. One thing that's going to be hard to like convey through this show that was like to me, and maybe it's just because I was lucky enough to have a friend whose dad was like into Star Wars, like full on nerd, and he was like a doctor, so he had like money to spend on Star Wars bullshit. But like he would buy like every book, every release, every game, every single thing that came out, so I could just like borrow and read everything that I wanted to. But like one thing that I notice is like a big change between how these were sold, which was like rags, like at the newsstand that smelled like shit or whatever, right? That you like maybe throw away when you're done with them.
That like half of them, at least in like the supermarkets, had already been read by like somebody
and ripped and stuff. Yeah, like the CDs, the Shadow of the Empire like soundtrack, the way Star Wars merchandise was packaged had like a kind of high quality to it, like maybe aged up from like marketing towards 13-year-olds to marketing towards like 20-year-olds.
Once you had books in bookshops that are hardcover sitting there, you know.
Actually, like because we shoot at like a used game store all the time, like, and they have a lot of that stuff there. Like toy packaging was like a whole era, and they still like Turtles, I think, are like the most famous ones where like on the back of those are just ads for other ones. I think because they use so much like black and other stuff, it had a elevated,
It looked like Dune.
considered, like the packaging of those toys, even if they're for the silliest character, is like, it looks nice. So yeah, it does feel like designed and
There's an
thought out in a
element
cool
to
way.
like, you know, like Sword of Shannara, or, you know, like those like old like fantasy novels, the big long ones, like the whatever those, like the big long like 20 book long epics that were like before the Lord of the Rings
worlds and things.
Yeah, like before the Lord of the Rings movies like kind of made fantasy mainstream, like there was like that sort of like painterly, like the Wizards movie with those, you know, there's just this sort of weirder look that was like a little bit more Frazetta.
Like what we use for the art for the show, like that.
That painterly look. Yeah,
I mean, that art is essentially what all the books, even this volume 5, looking at it right now, it's very strange because right away you'll notice that this is kind of the art we get the minute we end up with Return of the Jedi ends. We get an amazing cover, and then that stops, which is crazy to me.
Yeah, you get the like goofy, you go back to the goofy Marvel. Like,
Yeah.
right away. And actually, I felt...
Yeah, although there is an issue later that I wrote that was like a proto version of, maybe it's the last one, the second last one. It is like a proto version of how every other book does it, where it looks like a movie going on. It's like not quite there because it's still like painted, but I was like, we stopped getting the like truly goofy issues that spoil or lie about what's going to happen in it. And instead it's like all of the main characters, they're all kind of like looking serious. It's done.
The one with the like computer that they had to blow up, with the face for one panel, that cover was crazy.
That's the one I'm probably
that one
referring
was
to.
insane.
Is that the one that has like Luke on it? That's kind of like...
It's got like multicolors and
They look kind of like they're glowing, and the face is like...
There's some, like, I'm all about the wild artistic swings.
Love it.
But there are some times where I realize that this is the era of He-Man.
Yeah.
And a lot of the characters just look like He-Man characters at a certain point.
It still looks old-timey to me in general across the board, and not like totally cool yet.
But it's clear, like the first ones we had were very like Flash Gordon.
Goofy.
And now that we're in the 80s, it's very much like
leather jackets,
no shirt, muscle-bound guy with weird goggles on, and you're like, what was the aesthetic here?
Yeah.
It's not Star Wars or whatever it is.
Yeah, it is. It is less of the Flash Gordon-y, but it still is that like, or like John Carter, like the
like heavy metal.
The idea where you're like space, but you're like
Frank
shirtless
Frazetta,
a lot. Like it's like
pulp. It's very
Also
much pulp. It's
medieval
very,
for some
Yeah.
reason. Like there's castles and like knights
or
and
like
stuff.
Roman.
But then again, you know, I don't know. Like
Which they do a great job. Like regardless of which Star Wars movie it is, the people that are like designing it are like 10s.
Yeah.
And so like they'll do like a play on stuff like that. It's the same energy of what these comics are doing. They're like, what's a Rome? But in sci-fi, it's just the movies do it better.
Andor definitely had
we had like a French town.
space France and all that kind of shit, and like space like South American jungle.
This is true. We do.
We have not watched the last arc of
The
Andor.
summer was busy, but yeah, we got to watch. We watched it together.
But
and then
yeah,
we smooch.
I think like there is something to be said though, right? Like for the ability to just paint with genre. Like Star Wars can't really do that anymore because there's so much going on. Like
We kind of know what Star
there's
Wars
millions.
looks
There's
like.
there are like planets that exist and planets that don't exist in Star Wars now, and so usually planets don't take like you usually don't just like fly to a brand new planet in Star Wars anymore. You usually go somewhere that people recognize, even in like
Like, and it
couple
starts
steps
here
from-
where the first post Empire issue, you're like, dude, it's a brave new world. Oh, Han's gonna put on his episode A New Hope outfit and go back to Tatooine.
Yeah.
Okay,
Not every planet's Tatooine.
all right.
I have so
But
much to say about that
sometimes-
first comic. I'm so
Well,
ready.
but hold on. Okay, so my point is at this point they're still able to just draw a place that suits the story and not think about it, which I think is one of the big things I think that changes after the break is that they lock it down a little bit more. And I think like as goofy as it sometimes ends up, right? Like that Alan Moore story was like so far away from where Star Wars ends up as a franchise. But like as goofy as it is, it's worth it because you get to still sort of do the pulpy thing of just kind of making things that you need to make, like how Star Trek contrives situations like, oh, there's a planet that's just like Earth in World War II, except, you know, XYZ, like stuff
They're
like
all
that.
pig men.
Like, yeah, like whatever it is.
But baked into the DNA of it is it's like a weekly morality play. Like
Yes.
each one is like, we're going to do a thing.
But that's what the freedom of a comic book to do that in any other medium is lost when Star Wars becomes a juggernaut.
Yeah, in the 90s, everything codifies
Yeah.
and then everything's connected, which, you know, is both awesome and also the one thing that continues to hold it back is because everything's connected. Everything must have a purpose and a point.
Yeah.
And these comics do not at all. They exist to be fun. That's
Yeah.
it.
Like, you know how like we've been calling it like the protoverse or whatever? What have
Yeah.
we been calling it?
Protoverse.
Yeah. You know, like the universe, like there was the Big Bang, and I don't know if this is still the
Allegedly.
theory. This is me talking from like my 5th grade
You're
understanding.
telling it all came from the Star Wars universe?
Well, no, just like yeah, and then Han Solo and
What happened was
Chewbacca landed on Earth. No, what I like
that
Oh,
that,
Battlestar
that
Galactica.
planet's
Yeah.
the Planet Marble plan actually worked and it created this universe.
Yeah,
All
no,
makes
no,
sense.
no. Big Bang happens and the universe like vastly expands quickly and then cools down and then continues to expand but slowly, right? That's kind of in rough terms what I learned about the universe's creation when I was 10 years old. But I think that's where we're at right now is like we're still the walls of the reality are malleable in 1984 still. There is still like first wave invention happening where so many questions about the universe haven't been answered yet. Like what I was talking about so long ago when I was talking about how at one point Star Wars was just a story, it didn't have expectations, it didn't become a thing, and you have just free reign to like bring whatever in that you need. This, I believe, like the end of the protoverse, I think is going to, like, just based on how I'm sort of like watching this go and knowing that all we have left is a bunch of shit about Ewoks and droids left to watch after this until the heat death of this universe. Like, I feel like that's going to be the big change is that somebody decided, yes, we're keeping this. No, we're not keeping this. This is what Star Wars is. This is the universe now.
I also wonder if maybe it's because this is a movie that was in, 70s, 80s. When it picks up again in the 90s, I imagine someone had to say, our audience is 30 plus right now.
Right.
We need to start addressing that and not have people show up in like ridiculous outfits with
not the
bold
same
colors.
beast, yeah.
We're going to tell adult stories. And for the first couple years there, I would say like Thrawn trilogy, that's not geared towards kids at all.
There's adult content.
Like, Star Wars in general has been in its major releases. It's like kids can enjoy it, but the
Yes.
tone is not
Yeah.
youth.
The soft season 1 of our thing is the proto-verse, and the soft season 2 of our thing is the like Zon-verse explosion. And then season 3, I think, would be probably New Jedi Order, right? So in that second season era, that whole arc of time before they need to like do something else to like make the main story be about, that whole time there's really adult stories coming out. Like eventually, yeah, they broaden to a lot of
doing
other
kids' stuff,
They'll
yeah.
do like the kid novels and
and
stuff.
we're gonna hit some of those for sure. We're gonna at least go one or two reading levels down from adult reading in our show.
The Teen Jedi books are fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's still the side content to a very fairly mature readership as the main audience throughout the time leading up to the prequels. When the prequels come out is when New Jedi Order comes out, and it's like
That's a whole other beast.
Yeah,
when
that's-
there's now prequel books.
yeah,
and
that's another evolution. So we'll get to that when we get to that. But I think
man, I can't. The fact that there are books about pod racers, I must stress, we need to find those.
that's
and
going to
read
be
those.
so hot. We're gonna find it all, baby. And you know what's crazy? So much of it is like
Schemo
not expensive and very available. And
Especially, that's the funniest part about the prequel era is everyone got so hyped that you have to buy everything because it's going to be valuable. The books, the art, the like magazines that just had Darth Maul on the cover,
Yeah.
lunchboxes, everything was so you got to buy it, and it is literally the cheap. You can go anywhere online and buy it on the cheap now.
yeah,
Because they just made so much of it.
It's huge. Like everybody bought everything somehow because it was like the middle class still existed.
Watching people rummage through Toys R Us bins filled with Star Wars stuff that was on sale between the movies.
Kenner stuff, yeah.
Yeah, just a crazy time. And everyone was like, it'll be worth something one day. All the original figures are worth something. And it's like, okay.
I've bought in the Star Wars game. I don't think like in trying to. I've physically read everything that has come out so far, like that we've read.
Yeah.
I have some sort of concrete version of it, and I have not struggled in any way to get anything, and everything only gets newer.
I think, was it the Lando? One of the books was hard to get. I think it might have been the Lando.
If you use a Kindle,
you can buy it.
Then you'll have
the
no
Lando.
problem.
No, the Lando book is still in print. The Lando book
Then
you
it's
can
the
buy.
Han one. It's one of the ones that was like, oh no, this trilogy, you got to like eBay this thing.
I bought the
They
first.
did also collect all this shit.
I bought the first editions of each Lando book for less than $20
Interesting.
in their original.
No, I had the Han book. Damn it! One of the books I could not find and literally had to get a
It was
PDF
probably
file
it was probably
online.
the first one. It was probably Star Wars. Maybe not though. I don't know. Or maybe it was Splinter of the Mind. No, because that's still
No,
in
that-
print.
you can
That's
get that
still in print
anywhere.
too. Anyway, doesn't matter.
One of the things we read was driving me crazy.
It sure is weird being a Star Wars fan. Probably in 1984 is what we are finding. That's what I would say, and it's interesting to think about it as a continuity and a universe. You know, as like a reality.
I mean, what was like we know there was a fandom. We know people were talking about stuff and making little communities and going to conventions.
Yep.
But I keep thinking about like general public wise, there was no level of, when you think fandoms, you think, Star Wars, Marvel, like all the different big fandoms or Supernatural, whatever the hell, Harry Potter. And those are like fandoms that are multi-generational that everyone's into. I don't assume that was even remotely the case in 1984.
Well, like,
I mean,
based on what we know from Insider,
movie just came
which
out.
is later than where we're at with this stuff, like, there was still people buying merch a decade after.
enough.
Was it like
But
in the-
also, I think, like, the fandom became, like, Lucas was the fan. Like, the way that people talk about him, like, he, like, you get hype on the director and, like, what that company is doing.
It was definitely tapering off, but it never left the consciousness the whole time. Like,
Sure, it's definitely the
Everybody-
cultural
everybody,
zeitgeist.
yeah.
Like people know Star Wars, but I'm thinking like fandom wise, there wasn't.
It wasn't
doesn't seem like there's an uproar
particularly-
for like we need content all the time. We need Star Wars. It was Lucas said in 5 years he's going to work on another one, so we'll wait 5 years for that. Like it was. It
feels
a
like
weird
the-
patience.
Dude, people were so hype about the prequels, like, as we're reading again in the Insider, like, there's Spielberg is, like, talking about that it's coming. Like,
there's a case.
legit people were like, this is going to come soon.
There's a case that Star Wars fandom, or maybe Star Trek, maybe I don't know, one of those is like the second wave because, like, they kind of like took the shape of the fandoms of things that came before because there's not that many nerd sensations that have like lore. I mean, obviously comic books are their own thing.
You have, like, books and comics and stuff, but you mean, like, that are mass
that
media?
are huge.
Yeah.
And so like Lord of the Rings was out there for a while, but that wasn't even that old at the time.
And that, the barrier, like, you're right. Like the barrier to entry in all of these fandoms is pretty high, and Star Wars is like the first mass media fandom.
We're learning in Chilluminati because I just finished doing an episode on Jack Parsons, this like crazy occultist who lived in Pasadena in LA, that
What's the name of the actor from 30 Rock?
Jim?
no, John Lithgow,
No,
French Stewart,
the guy that's like, maybe he's a vampire and he's immortal.
Abe Vigoda.
He's like the page from 30 Rock.
Oh, Kenneth.
Oh, not Third Rock from the Sun. You
30 sorry.
I thought
30
you
Rock.
said Third Rock.
No, so did I.
Kenneth. It's Jack McBrayer.
I was way off. I just thought that was the same name.
Jim Parsons is Sheldon.
Although if
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I derailed you for nothing. I am getting slow in my old
Although
age.
if anyone
I will
were
soon
to play-
not be alive.
if anyone were to play Jack Parsons, I would want Jack Breyer to do that because that would
Honestly,
be an amazing
not a
character.
bad-
Oh my
That'd be
God.
so good.
The point is, Robert Heinlein.
Bazinga! I can't even do
Robert
it.
Heinlein, author Heinlein, author of Stranger in a Strange Land, very influential, probably like the first serious sci-fi book that people thought of as like literature, and not like pulp or for children. That was like smart, was in modern times was probably Stranger in a Strange Land. And this dude was in Laurel Canyon, and they were the first fan clubs of sci-fi were the actual people writing this shit, and they were meeting in each other's houses. So built into the culture of sci-fi as a thing that exists in the world, not just as like a movie fandom.
But this kind of shit has been happening since like Mary Shelley and like the literature nerd clubs.
Of course, but Mary Shelley literally wrote the first sci-fi novel ever at a meetup. So that's what I'm saying. It's a fucking thing that's built into sci-fi.
It also rhymes.
Yeah, yes. And so
Lucas was right.
So like the idea of having to survive by meeting up and exchanging and sharing and interacting with the actual people that make the stuff is actually a genre thing for sci-fi as well as a nerd thing. Like it's not really about nerdiness. It's about like what sci-fi is as a genre, is that you need to kind of like stay in dialogue with the authors of it to keep them relevant, because they've been the Twitter celebrities of the last however many years. So if you think about that, the first wave of sci-fi fans that came off the magazines like Amazing Stories and all that stuff set up the structure for this.
Yeah.
Star Wars, Star Trek, a couple other things from around that area show up, and they already know how to do it. The church shape, the sci-fi fandom shape has already been established, and then they map it so that you just go, oh, we're already nerds. We already know the fandom shape, and we go, oh, beep, beep, beep. We're going to like make a Star Wars fandom now. Like, I feel like that's what happened. And I think that that's where Star Wars is at in that, is that it was like a big part of like keeping sci-fi community based for a while.
I keep wondering, there's like
Doctor Who also.
There's like an alternate timeline where George Lucas got to make his Flash Gordon movie.
Yeah.
And instead of having to make Star Wars,
like I know he loves Flash Gordon, but was
he wanted to make Flash Gordon and he couldn't. They wouldn't sell him the rights or whatever, and so he ended up making his own thing. There's an alt timeline where like,
dude, that
Flash
probably
Gordon's
explains
the shit.
Like when they show,
he basically did make Flash Gordon.
Oh my fucking god!
Basically,
yeah.
My brain is so bad. The star of The Thing,
Mark Hamill.
No,
Kurt Russell.
You know how like he?
I didn't realize you literally meant The Thing. I'm with you now. Yeah.
He auditioned for like Han Solo. Like there's like footage of it, and the lines that he's reading sound way more Flash Gordon
Spacey,
than actual
Space
Star
AG,
Wars.
yeah.
So yeah, like okay, I knew that he was like a fan of those as a kid. I didn't know that his like Frankenstein, that like Guillermo del Toro, like his like thing was to do that itself as an adaptation.
Yeah.
That's cool.
There's actually a case to be made that as rocketry and space travel and stuff became real, that the grittiness of space makes total sense, because you're now able to map more of what's real onto it, because you know what it takes in a way to do more stuff. Like probably like engines, for example, on a spaceship. Like if you look at it in a movie, they're like tiny in the 50s because it's like, it just like looks nice to have it be like a football flying through space. But then like once you see what it takes to get out of the atmosphere, you're like, oh no, those
you end up with a Superstar Destroyer with massive engines.
Yeah, exactly. Or like an Alien, which is like only a few years later, and it's like, like much more industrial, right?
I love,
makes sense logically. Yeah.
One of my like Halo, their big ships, that whole situation is like sort of
Halo?
peak. The Halo franchise, like
okay, yeah.
All of their large ships is like, I think the Alien thing, but taken even like further in a different. And I love that like sort of aesthetic.
And what a Halo literally is, actually, even I would say,
Yeah,
like
kind of like the marble machine in this.
That is
all rhymes, dude.
That thing is like DC Comics level. That would be like a Crisis level threat to the universe in DC. What that thing is. We'll talk about that in a minute.
It's so funny. Actually, we should, because it weirdly rhymes with what Star Wars does. We'll get there. Let's go to the issues. But
it always makes me scared when he shakes before he says what he's going to say.
Because he's excited.
Because you never know. This is like, we play this game where we're like, wait, was this thing actually inspired by this thing? And there's no real answer, and it's like conspiracy theory where like maybe not, maybe just there's only so many worlds and our brains just make connections. But
There's a lot of that in this still. Every time I'm reading stuff, even names of characters, which is just so crazy. Anyway, this starts with 2 more issues of Return of the Jedi. I would say that without going through them, just because we've gone through Return of the Jedi now several times, like there's not much more. There's a lot more that's not different in the back end. However, there is a lot more skipping of like key action sequences and moments.
The speeder scene is 2 pages.
Yeah, they just don't.
This is like,
I kind of was like,
this
these are
shows
worse.
you, I think, like,
Feels like the art is worse.
this tells you a lot about what the strengths, which we already talk about, of Empire or Jedi are, where it's like, yeah, you just jump through a lot of the action, or you don't have these massive battles in the high production film, and they lose so much of their impact. Like with Empire, I think because of the way that the story like really narrows down to like a couple key people and their emotional connections, it works better in comic form. And then for this, you're jumping through Endor, which I think shows how a lot of the Ewok and that kind of stuff is sort of just like filler for the characters to get us to places. The Emperor minus Ian McDiarmid's voice for me is far less effective. Like the scenes that are just done because they're so good, they're so iconic. He chews the scenery in that way that's like awesome, that like Christopher Walken, like during his heyday, can do. When it's just all like a whole scene is on one flat page and it's just his dialogue boxes, you're like, well, this kind of doesn't work.
Also,
or like even the big fight with Vader and Luke is like, when it's all like one, there's none of the dramatic. It just tells you
It
what's happened.
wasn't
You're
like
oh,
drawn.
it's lost.
It wasn't like
all of
depicted
it's
how it would.
And
That would take pages in a normal
and we
comic.
spend
But they
so
have to-
much time.
And they do that kind of sequences in other stuff when they have more time. Like the one we talked about in the Ellie that was so effective was like one whole page dedicated to like basically 3 seconds of them like sitting outside the thing, the explosion of like the suicide thing happening, and them being like reacting.
in a,
Got
comic,
a whole
in,
page, and here
in a
you have to
comics
do-
issue, it's going to be 3 things that happen in an issue, whereas in this movie where they have to fit it all in 4, it's like
But what they choose to keep and what they don't is fascinating because
There's no dog fighting. There's none of the.
There's a lot of Vader Luke fight.
Yeah.
But the stuff happening right outside, we don't see much of.
Right.
Because it's, I assume, incredibly hard to put that on paper and not, it's very
just
clearly a
didn't-
movie element.
if there was 2 more issues, I
Probably
feel like
could've.
they probably would have had a little more action. But
Like,
it just like isn't
that-
there. It doesn't feel good. Yeah.
The issue we read last time about them going to the AT-AT facility, like on that planet, that was paced better for like showing a large scale battle than
because it's the
Yes.
only thing that happens in the whole goddamn issue.
the Executor isn't even in this fucking thing.
yeah.
There's one shot right as they're in the transport.
They show a big wide
and
shot.
they show the wide shot of the Executor in front of the star of the
I'm
Death
like
Star.
you're talking about. I meant like in the final battle.
Yes. Oh, not even there. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, I'm very curious. Was this one of those ones where they did it before the movie came out, kind of things?
No, it came out a little bit after the movie.
Is this?
But they
then
just
how on earth did they make the Force lightning the Emperor does look so stupid?
because they just didn't
When
want
the
to spend
Emperor's
the
thrown
time.
in the pit, he's a fireball. Like, I don't even understand.
The like I know you got to take some license to make the image. I just think it shows like if you did Rogue One, like the ending of Rogue One is a comic, you can't do it like this where it's like truly it's film. You need the exhilaration of the sequences, and I don't think that you can cut between things.
It just
In
takes
comics,
more. It just takes more
the
pages.
way that you do it. Like it just doesn't work the
takes
same
way
way.
more pages to do it right if you want to show like just stuff occurring that's motion and like little bits of emotion. For somebody to look at somebody in cinema and cast a look, you can do it acting by showing them for like a second. But in a comic book, that is not what comic books are really for.
The soundtrack doesn't carry over, so you can't like.
It's such a bigger
Do
moment.
things-
It's
yeah.
just such a bigger moment in a comic book when somebody looks at somebody and does something. It would take a whole half a page to a page, or like the Death Star run to do it justice at the end. It would take 10 pages.
There's also a thing with the comics that they do right, or I at least loved, is when they showed, I guess, I don't want to say size, but like amount of things when it comes to, so in the movies, it wasn't until we got the re-releases later where they bumped up the number of, say for example, the Rebel ships at the end.
Right.
In this, the Rebel fleet's massive. In the comic, they show you a panel where it's like, that's a lot of ships, much more than the movie. And then later on, Lucas goes in and adds more ships because, like, yeah, the Rebel fleet wasn't just 3 ships.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, I like that. But they can get away with that in the comic. Meanwhile, the actual use of those ships, we barely see, and it's pointless to have even
they just
done that.
did it for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I also think I was praising the dialogue for the last half of the comic because it felt like they did it. They were like, okay, we're gonna like do less talking and we're gonna like make it a little bit faster and like aggressive.
They pinched the parts of the Vader thing to all be one
they
continuous
like
sequence.
They wanted to be snappier and fun. I felt like in the first half with the Jabba stuff and all that, it just worked for me. Some of the lines were like a little bit zestier because they needed to be a little bit more expository while still being snappy. So they were a little bit ruder to each other
This
and more
is
real.
almost all exposition.
They
This-
also
this-
threw in
this
some of the
sucks.
book stuff about like a jet. Like I was killed. They still had that great like I was killing Jedi when killing Jedi meant something.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like the dialogue suffers in the back half of this for that same
They have
reason.
to explain what's happening because they can't show it.
They can't rewrite, and maybe they got a note to rewrite the script less or something too, because they just take almost no liberties with anything in the way that they did before.
Mon Mothma has black hair. That's pretty good.
Yeah, finding out about the sister happens at a different time.
Yeah, and it's a different thing.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's just
really, it's familiar enough that you almost, if you couldn't watch the movie anytime you wanted, it's close enough that you probably wouldn't even notice how they do it. Like you wouldn't. It doesn't really affect.
except like that's just like an iconic moment.
It just doesn't
him in
affect
the darkness. Like it's so I'm like bummed because I could see a beautiful full art, like you could see it in your mind's eye in that one weird issue where they had like the One Punch Man Luke face. It was almost like that
Yes,
kind of thing.
yes.
It's just like, yeah, I don't know. They are limited. They have to do what they can. They were given 4 things, and in a movie that's so iconic, you just have to pick your battles.
A movie has 24 frames
figuratively.
in a second.
Yeah,
there's
and
like
it's
5 that can fit
it's
on one
just
page
like
of the comic.
some of the moments that none of the emotional moments for me hit here. Like
Right.
the even Vader's death was so quick and off camera.
don't even really
basically.
show you
From
just-
Vader's death to the very end, 2 pages?
Yeah,
Like, it's fast.
I think like the one thing that was legit, but then I was bummed because like my first note for the 3rd issue was like they rapid fire through all this stuff, but at least they slowed down to give Luke and Leia. That scene of him like going off to go surrender to Vader was given the most time for character development of the whole thing.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, all right, well, they're going to hit those moments. Nah, not in the end.
Yeah, it wasn't. I don't think this is the best way to read Return of the Jedi. The art is fucking fantastic still. Like it looks beautiful all the time.
Yeah.
And like as a thing to have.
The other thing that sucks about the art is the Death Star. Death Star 2 is like the most iconic, like undead looking spaceship. And they're like, in this one, it's just a full Death Star again.
Yeah.
And it was like, no.
Yeah, they're like, we want to draw that.
I will say, towards the end of the last issue, some like one really great panel of Luke, and it says Luke Skywalker, the Last Jedi. I like that. I was
Yeah.
like, okay, that kind of rips.
Yeah, it's crazy that there's so much stuff that like.
Those intro panels where it's the weapon.
You don't even see the Force Ghost technically as part of the issue. They're a pinup.
Yeah.
Yes, at the end. Yeah.
I was like, does this count? Are the pinups
They're like
supposed to be continued storytelling?
Yeah, they're like, gotcha.
Yeah, it's all right. It's kind of like a bummer that it wasn't as good as Empire, but
I liked the actual other comics that we read, all of them better than the Return of the Jedi comics. I thought they were less successful as comics. Obviously, Return of the Jedi is a better story than what occurs in the comics, but as a reading experience, I thought it was a slog to get through Return of the Jedi this time for me.
But we also like talk about kind of famously that Return of the Jedi, because it has to end everything, like it has a different structure than normally would, and it like has to do a bunch. So like
If it was all action and splash pages, I would be all about a dumbass story. It's like wordy little boxes with lots of dialogue all the time, and you skip the cool parts.
Especially during the fight.
Dude, if they had done a extra sized one and they had included, because there's like a big splash page in the later issue for that one planet they go to, and it's like the rich people are like running everything.
Yeah.
And there's like a giant splash page of nothing, of like their local troops fighting, and you're like, if the Endor, like if you did each battle getting its own large thing,
That'd
like
be
a
cool.
Where's Waldo ass tells a whole story of the scene in one.
Even just one.
Like
Those dudes
charge
piling out of
$1
the
or
door.
more for it, like that would be crazy. But
Those
they just
dudes
didn't.
piling out of the door on all the helmets in that one issue, like towards the end of this, where they're like coming out of the door and like getting decked out by those dudes. That is like a fresco painting. It's like
That's what I'm talking about. It's just for a much less impressive moment.
Yeah.
But it's because they have that. They're like, well, got nothing else to say here. Might as well just draw a big ass picture, which like rules. But not when you have to do a fucking 2.5 hour movie in 4 issues. All right. Speaking of that, we're done with Return of the Jedi now. Do you have anything else you want to say about Return of the Jedi?
Those are all my notes.
That's it. That's it.
Those little. I did like the
squares.
The first issue cover. Like,
Yeah.
What do you call the inside art? That's like not the cover, but
It's like not a normal thing that's in every comic, but it's just
cool.
They do like a little establishing
It's like
shot,
a hand holding a thing, and then the final one is like the lightsabers
Duel.
both holding him.
Even the spear, the Ewok spear. I was like, that's really cool. I honestly was like, that'd be cool as a 4 kind of like art print thing to have in your house somewhere. Yeah.
even one of them is like dope as fuck. They're just
they're
really beautifully done. Yeah. Somebody spent a lot of time on those.
Yes.
Then we get Star Wars 81, which is Jawas of Doom, which can I just say
They're doing so many puns
Can I
in
say
this.
out the top, like Mandalorian, right?
This was very
Very Mandalorian.
Yeah.
and Book of Boba. This is a lot of
Yeah,
this is a lot of weird things.
This
but
felt so Favreau zone to me. Anyway, we're in the Ewok village. Han and some dude are talking about taking credits. They're like, yeah, you like saved the Empire, but you're like people are after you.
But by the way, this is a
Is this the one where like the first thing he does is he tries to like shake somebody down for some money?
it is an incredibly weird tonal shift from Return of the Jedi that this is the first one back, and the cover looks like we're still in Return of the Jedi. We're gonna get some cool
Right.
stuff. You open that comic, page 1 is Han looking super goofy.
Yeah.
And then immediately after that, page 2 is a guy who looks like a 4chan poster being like, Han Solo!
You son of a bitch."
You son of a bitch! It's wild. It
It's
is
way back to being comic books is what it
Yes.
is. Yeah.
Well, and jettisoning the Return of the Jedi ones, the last issue from the same team of writers and everything,
Yes. Roughly.
was so like differently toned, so serious, so differently drawn, and I like wrote before, like I break it down, and I was like writing notes before I even read it, where I was like, "This is it. This is the first piece of media beyond
It's all
Jedi.
Milhouse
Let's
for
go!"
me.
And then
Yeah.
the next thing's like, "Fuck this. Nope. Han is regressed in character, in costume. They go fucking straight back to fucking whatever. They bring out Boba Fett. They go do Jawa shit, and then they end up back in the fucking Sarlacc pit.
I laughed so hard when we get to those last pages, and I was like, "Stop! No!"
This is somebody was like, whatever, man. I know."
I don't think I think this was, let me look at this. Hold on.
Because this is.
Let me look at this.
At first, I was like, "Oh my god, they're really doing like what the books later do, which is the kids love the Boba Fett. Let's bring him back." And they're like, "We're doing it right away." And I was like, "Okay, this is kind of ballsy. Let's see where this goes." No, this is the biggest letdown of an issue. I was like, "Come on, guys."
Do you want to know probably what happened here? Do you want to know what I think probably happened here? I think probably there was a story that involved Luke or somebody else here, and then they just decided to make it a Han Solo story, so they just took him back to
Because
Tatooine.
it makes no sense why he would be the one to go back to Tatooine.
Because I think they wanted to do a Han is back story, and then they just like threw him into this like weird story.
It makes perfect sense why he would go back. Okay, remember he has money saved in a bank.
All right.
But because somebody that's not him told the bank that he was frozen.
We'll get there.
They
We'll
froze
get-
literally, also figuratively. They froze in
a good
the
policy.
economic sense his things, and then he's like, "I'm here." and alive, and they're like, well, sorry.
Also,
That's how it goes
In a
today.
galaxy far, far away, they just got a normal bank teller to be the banker.
Yeah.
She's
It's like-
just like, sir, I don't know
It's
what
like
to
a
do
bank
for
teller
you.
from like Los Angeles.
Yes, it's
All right,
crazy.
so look, Leia says she's going to lend Han some money. That happens in the future. Don't worry about what we just said. Leia offers to lend Han some money from her wealthy family. He says he just wants to make it on his own. He's like angry. He walks off. Chewbacca is sleeping with some Ewoks. It's a very beautiful image, but he's like sleeping with some Ewoks in the back. They're like, look at him. He's sleeping with Ewoks. Isn't that crazy?
Dude, this fucking... It's fine. I'm sorry. I know I'm a problem. But there's a guy that's like, man, I never would have guessed in a million years that Chewbacca would be like hanging out with Ewoks. And you're like, you mean the species that you just discovered like a day ago? What do you mean? You never would have guessed Chewbacca would have hung out with Wookiees?
You never would have
What are you
guessed.
fucking talking about,
Because
Carl?
probably because
Get
he
out
never
of here.
would
We're
have
never going to
guessed.
see you
Probably
again.
because he never
You're
knew about
irrelevant.
it.
Why are you wasting my space? Get Ellie back.
It reminds him of his son.
Maybe he never knew that Ewoks
Not
existed.
Chewbacca. It's more like a person being like, how crazy is it that Chewbacca and an Ewok are hanging
Imagine
out?
this.
It's like, you don't
Imagine
know.
this. You're the guy who works in the Rebel base. One day you see Chewbacca, okay? He blows you away because you're from some backwater world.
and you think he's never going to be friends with anyone. He rips
no,
people's
you're
arms
gonna
off.
say he needs like some little guys just like him to be with. That's never gonna happen. That's so sad. I can't believe he's never gonna have like the feeling of being with a bunch of little furry guys like him. And then what do you see? It's so stupid. And then what do
You're
you
like
see?
Chewbacca, the famously family man. Never thought he would have.
He's
other
not
little
famously
creatures.
family man.
Dude,
He's
people
famously
in here like they forget it a lot, but in here they're like, he gets really sad when he hasn't seen his family. And you're like,
Yeah.
fuck you! You bring it up twice. That motherfucker loves danger.
the rest of the rebels.
He hits on ladies and wears a fucking boat captain's hat. He's a yacht rock Wookiee.
The rest of the rebels come out still reeling.
Rock Wookiee.
Luke wonders where Han went. Leia tells him a lot's happened after he came out of the carbonite and he's processing it.
They said in this, there's a line where it's like he's lost a lot of his life to this.
Yeah.
How much time was supposed to have passed? Or are they like, if you get frozen in carbonite, you do get like less
No, I think it's
life.
like he was frozen for like 6 months or some shit like that, and it's fucked up to like come out and just realize that like, oh shit, everything is like still going.
They're like remembering the trauma written in the novelization about like your life and existence frozen in a scream, in a nightmare forever.
So then Han's in the forest. He's checking on the Falcon, which he's like thinking about. Oh, did Lando and Chewie take care of? He's like, yeah, man, I should trust Chewie. Chewie's cool, but I just, I better just go check. And he's like, oh, look, my dice that I won the Falcon with, or something like that.
These very important dice.
Yeah, and then he hears a sound, and then Chewie's behind him, and Han's like, I'm good. And then they like actually have like a nice, genuinely cute moment of hugging because Han needs a hug. And Chewie's the guy who hugs Han. And then Han and Leia are taking off in the Falcon. Han thinks Money's waiting for him on other worlds. He's going to go get some. Leia's like, why am I here? And why is R2 here? And he's like, listen, that's just how it is, man.
That's how the writers wanted it.
I don't have any friends, right? I don't like. There's nobody I like in this world that
You
I
guys
would.
are main cast.
There's nothing I would.
Yeah.
There's nobody I would prefer to travel with out there. But I think I'm going to take Leia and R2 with me for some reason that I don't want to say. I don't want to say what reason is. Maybe he's just lonely. On Tatooine, a group of Jawas find the body of Boba Fett, which is like barfed on. He's like caked into the wall.
He gets like burped out.
Yeah, he's like caked onto the sand in like a. He looks like how Iceman used to look.
They do
on the
show
X-Men.
him like he gets like burped out, and then it's like him crawling. This actually was kind of cool. Like I like these, and then it's like what he like passed out and got like sand blown over, and so
I
they
liked
found
it
him.
because as a kid who like did not read these old ass comics, that's something I always wondered about is what that would be like. And I know there's a story eventually that we read.
We get there.
where Boba Fett crawls out, but for a long time I wondered.
I almost want to make a pool about how many different times are we going to see him in different ways pulled out.
At least 3.
I'm willing to bet it'd probably be like 7 times. by
Boba
the
Fett's
end
about
if
to
we
get
count it.
so annoying. We're like, I think there's probably more stories about Boba Fett than there are about fucking Han Solo. I bet. So yeah, he's burped up after the Sarlacc pit debacle. There's a fucking translator droid that's talking to the Jawas so that we can understand the Jawas. He thinks that the body of Boba Fett is actually like some kind of robot or cyborg, and they decide
It's
to take
a
it back
weird
to the
bit
Sandcrawler.
where I'm just like, why would you think
Why
that?
would you? Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
do you think stormtroopers are?
I guess the idea.
robots?
I guess the idea is that the Mandalorian armor is like super complicated, and then they're
It's obviously a person just
look.
look
They're
at
ready
it.
to
like,
put. I'm
you
just.
could,
Saying,
like,
I don't
see
know
the
what to tell.
gloves.
I don't know what to tell you. They decided to put a restraining bolt on him. They don't know what to do with them. Han, Leia, and R2 show up. Han is trying to get permission to land, and Leia's like, "Just let me be."
They can start. Let me just. They routinely scan for life signs in this
Maybe
franchise.
he's got
they
fucking-
can detect faint or
But
not
do
faint.
Jawas.
Droids do.
If you were a bounty hunter,
I
the
guess
best
it's a
one,
protocol
if you're
droid,
the
so maybe
best
you don't have
bounty
the full-
hunter,
Yeah.
if you're the best bounty hunter in the galaxy, maybe you got some shit in your armor that you're invisible to sensors.
Or maybe Jawas just don't care, man.
Yeah, maybe Jawa's got fucking doo-doo
All
technology.
they care about is Utini, and that's
Maybe they
it.
got a fucking PS2 that they're waving around in front of him, trying to scan him, and they don't even know what the fuck they're doing.
You're right. You're right. Fair.
Leia is like using her princessness to get on the ground. Han's like, fine. They're like, let's leave a mature person in
This
charge.
is a whole. Actually, that is a funny bit where it's like, this whole thing could be solved by like just it's like I'll
Letting
just give
Leia-
you money.
yeah.
Like it's fine. You're like part of the commission.
She's
You
like,
earned
nope,
it.
no, Han's got it, no. So then we get the scene where Leia finds out that since Jabba died, the Jawas have been like getting too big for their britches.
Like a power vacuum.
They realize there's a lot of Jawas and nobody stopped them, I guess. And Jabba, I guess, famously, like according to people on Tatooine,
I've just never thought of the Jawas as actually
Yes.
like a menace, and here they're like they'll fucking roll in. They'll roll in and just to the most populated city and just
take-
steal shit, and everyone's like, "Dude, it's the fucking Jawas, man!
let them.
Those are 2 feet
They're
terrors.
gonna bite you, dude. Let them.
Look at their eyes.
They're gonna give you. They're gonna give you fucking rancor sickness. Jabba apparently like muscled the Jawas out of the scrap industry. He like took it over, which like why the fuck would you do that?
Drugs,
and so now
slaves,
so
scrap.
now they have responded by like becoming like slightly mob like. In return to survive, and they're as worried
Spice,
about them now.
Slaves, scrap.
They're
That's
worried. They're as worried about them as they are about Sand People, aka Tusken Raiders. In the bank, we see the scene where Han was frozen in real life, and so his account was frozen, and the bank, in a classic takedown of capitalism, is unwilling to confront logic and he just has to leave. It's like not having the password to your bitcoins. Han realizes
It's not even not having the password to your bitcoins. It's like, I'm alive. Nothing changed. You heard nothing from me, and there was no official death thing. Somebody told you that I was frozen.
Except it's
still
in
alive,
space.
so you just.
It's just in space. You know, like probably people are coming and going. You can imagine how maybe some bad, red tape caused him to be in this position.
I'm sure, like it is like frontier banking where it's kind of like, what are you
Yeah.
gonna fucking do?
Yeah. I have a paper that says this.
You're not a Jawa. I'm not scared of you.
If I was a droid, I would be fucking scared of Jawas. So Han realizes he's like off the grid and he's like a ghost. He doesn't exist. So he goes to a bar. Leia follows him. Han's like, Bacon doesn't know I couldn't talk to the computer. And they were like, dude, she was like, R2 literally is a talking computer. Let's go get him. And then they're in the hangar. R2's not there anymore. There's like weird footprints everywhere. They're like, oh, fuck. And Han checks in with this guy, Garrick, who is like sitting there working on land speeders, recognizes Han by his voice. So they just are old buddies, I guess. And he says he hasn't seen anything. And he says, honestly, even if I did, I don't give a shit. People do this kind of weird shit all the time. It's jungle. It's law of the jungle out here. Han is like, the fuck? And he like takes his land
He's
speeder.
like, well, I'm glad you said that because like, doesn't he like kick him? Or
Yeah, he, like, kicks him.
and then steals his shit.
Yeah, and then Leia gets into another one, they steal two of them and leave. And then they're following the
They
sand.
only steal two because they're gonna do bullshit. Like it doesn't make any sense based on how they travel. Just that they're like, no, later we're gonna want to have had two for whatever we're gonna
exactly.
do.
So they follow it. The sandcrawler moves slow. They catch up to it. R2 is in the sandcrawler with the restraining bolt, so he can't do anything. He asks about Boba Fett. They're like, it's a cyborg. R2's like, that ain't no cyborg.
Actually, they probably did two because they're like, well, because of Jedi, she can like also pilot now, and she's like rad. So we'll just do a less cool looking speeder scene.
That's exactly what it is. They also give Lando.
Actually, yeah,
he's
with
like-
the amount of explosions and other stuff.
They give Lando his like fake ship, also the Cobra. So Han and Leia show up. They're shooting blasters at the Sandcrawler to make it slow down. The Jawas start shooting back. This reminded me so much of that egg one, right?
It really and I think without looking at it, aren't they a different color? Like because of comics and stuff, they have like
slightly different
coloring too. So it feels like that.
Yeah. So the Jawas are shooting at him. R2 tries to do something inside, but the droid is like, no, you have a restraining bolt on. Boba Fett wakes up. He's like, doesn't remember what's going on. Han is like trying to figure out how he's going to get out of this. There's like a strategic move that he tries to do. Someone starts shooting at them from behind. Han thinks it's Leia. She tries to say that it's not her, but then she flies off her speeder. Han gets onto the Sandcrawler and gets hit by one of the bullets or laser blast, falls inside, and Leia's like, oh shit. And now we're in like pure Indiana Jones type territory.
Tank headed towards the cliff.
Yeah. So she's like, hey, the fucking thing's breaking. You got to get out of there. It's going right into the Sarlacc pit, which is hilarious that a fucking Sandcrawler could go in the Sarlacc pit. Doesn't seem like it would make sense. Inside,
they're much larger.
Yeah.
Like based on, or at least as big. Like
though in
that
Book
should
of Boba
just
Fett,
kill
it. Yeah, that's what I think. But maybe it did. We don't know. Inside the Sandcrawler, Han is like, what the fuck? Is that Boba Fett? And then Han is like, oh shit, the sand people are coming. The Jawas are not here. The Sandcrawler's fucked. Han is like, can we just like be friends for 1 second to get out of here? And he's like, who the fuck are you, bro? Do I know you? And Han's like, what? And so he leaves. He pulls R2 out. He's like, should I leave Boba Fett behind? And he's like,
well, R2 or like Boba Fett, he does like hoist him up, and then he's like, man, I should leave him, but he's like, I can't do it.
Yeah, he pulls him out. Fett starts to realize that it's Han Solo, leaves Boba Fett in there, and then it goes back in the Sarlacc pit, which is
Hilarious.
and
Boba Fett
technically,
right back in.
Technically, sets him up to be rescued again from the Sarlacc pit by Dengar later. That's the end of that issue. This next one is called Diplomacy.
Not a great issue.
Yeah, this one,
Great.
I didn't love this one, but I didn't hate this one. It just, I get what this story is supposed to be. I just like didn't think it was done that well.
I must stress, this issue that we're about to get into canonically confirms that, what was his name? Pliff.
Yeah.
Pliff,
These freaking
the Hoojib,
The leader of the
was
Hoojib.
on Endor at the time of the Battle of Endor.
Yeah.
These
Hopefully we see
dirty
him.
little power-sucking, flightless Minoc Hoojibs.
Hopefully we see him in the Blu-ray release.
He will be
They're
there.
so all over this, and it's like they're like heroes of the. If you read the comics, they've
heroes
saved
of
the
the
universe
rebellion. Yeah.
several
They don't
times.
not work. You know what I mean?
You're right. They do not work.
They don't not work. They don't not work. Like a little talking guy isn't out of the question in Star Wars, and I don't think that we're gonna keep seeing them.
I think like what the big difference, like because we always debate the like Star Wars kids whatever talk
Yeah.
is like there are cutey little things, but in universe they all just speak their own language and they don't tell you what they're saying. Pliff being like a wise talking like Jackrabbit Mew hybrid is like this is weird. Like it just does not fit.
It's full.
Him like flirting with Leia several times throughout these comics is like weird. It's like
It's something that would never even fly today. But that's kind of why I think it's hilarious. It's because they were like, yeah, no, this guy is Star Wars. This is part of it. And it makes perfect sense why, considering things like Pliff, that like in the next couple things that we see, that's like everyone.
Do you think Lucas because he didn't like the Rabbit Man from the first couple of issues that is vanished.
Yeah.
So do you think Lucas liked Pliff?
I think he likes
I
the
assume
little
that
guys.
at some point he cared less because he was like all in on
Yoda,
the other stuff.
I think Yoda is a little guy. I think the Ewoks are little guys. I think the pod racers are little guys.
Actually, based on where he goes with stuff,
I think he likes little guys.
his little pit droid guys. Yeah,
There's little guys all over the place.
He loves his little dudes.
That little dude who
Love his little
burps.
dudes.
I think like
You know the little guy who burps?
Yeah.
He's a guy.
I also
Salacious
just think,
Crumb,
like,
that's a little guy.
they are so busy doing their own thing with the comics that's why like they.
I don't think Pliff is like sticking around. I think we may have already seen the last of it.
It's just so weird that we went from
I think we'll see the last of him once Volume 6 ends, but like,
Yeah.
we end on a cliffhanger, and he's part of it.
Yes. Like there's
Or I guess not in that specific one, but
it's
he's
weird
still
that,
in
that
play.
they brought us back to pre-Return of the Jedi comics so quickly. Like we jump into this, and it isn't just Pliff. We're going back to Escalon. We're going like Danny's there. Like there is everything that you are like. Well, that was all right. They're like put it in one issue. Bring it all back.
There's probably a point.
It has, except for that it's a comic book, so you can do anything. It's like all the recent Resident Evil games, their DLC is just recycled assets. Like instead of doing a new story, they're like, actually, we're going to have the gun guy, and he's going to be a different guy in this, and you're going to go to this place. And it's like, it makes it feel small to me. Like the episode where they brought all the worst aliens together in the last little segment we did was like, this doesn't make it feel bigger.
It's
It makes it
just-
feel smaller.
I think it's a convention of Marvel. I think it's a rogues gallery. I think-
Sure.
yeah.
What the realization I had this time reading, or that I think might happen, because I'm like, why the fuck are we still dealing with this shit? Is like, they're not approaching it like us, where we're like, great, the adults made a thing, so now we get that. I'm assuming like the writers are like, no, I love Pliff.
Yeah.
Pliff is my son. I want
Yeah.
to bring him back, and that's why we get it.
They
back.
probably had to create a bunch of characters that they could use in the interim, and then
Hero.
yeah,
His name is like basically Hero. He has the same haircut as Luke. and he
Skywalker,
is
yeah.
Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
On the
his
flip
name-
side,
if his
Devil's
name-
Advocate, I think that his samurai armor is rad. I had this realization the other day.
Yeah.
You know, like the amygdala, the like fear center of the brain,
Yes.
how it loosely works, where it's like always scanning it. Once it picks up something that matches a pattern of trauma from your past, it like short circuits it. That's like your fight or flight.
I'm so excited to see how this relates to Samurai.
I have what I like to call a kidula, where pretty good, right?
okay. Well, it depends on what it is.
Where I'll be all out on something, and then like samurai rebreather armor hits just the like 12-year-old in Davis, and I'm like, okay, but I really like that armor, and that's rad. And now I'm just fantasizing about like an aquatic warrior,
Samurai, yeah.
and I'm
That's what the point of it is, man. They got you. You got straight up got by G.I. Joes just now.
dude.
Yeah, you just
What
did.
if
Yeah.
Cliff was
GI Joe's
Yeah, you
Cobra,
got-
like
like gave a thumbs up so you guys don't.
yeah.
Yeah.
He really likes Cobra Commander.
not like morally,
Deathstroke.
but it's like they like did Hugo Boss design their shit too? Like
You love
those
the
guys
outfit.
look. I like a clean, unified aesthetic,
He's talking about Godfall Superman earlier today.
dude.
He just loves the look
I
of
just
a-
like actually no Superman the animated series. That's peak. Like they're Krypton.
I'm with
vibes.
you. The one you remember the Alan Moore one?
Which of Star Wars?
The one where he dreams the dream of his Kryptonian child. That's
Yes.
There's some good Kryptonian
Man-
fashion.
what's it called?
For the man who has everything or something like that. Anyway, that doesn't matter. What does matter is that on Endor, Luke is
Yeah,
training
because it
with
was
the
fake.
Ewoks.
So stop crying, Kal-El.
Yes,
Pussy.
Kello. No, so Luke's training with the Ewoks. This is like straight out of Rise of Skywalker.
This is
He does like a spin move at one
it's
point.
straight up Rey running around in the rocks in the
Yeah.
beginning of Rise of Skywalker. It's super weird.
except for where were the fucking porgs helping her out, huh?
The Porgs aren't force
They're just
sensitive.
sitting there
Neither are the
being
Ewoks.
No, the
pet
Porgs
by
aren't-
Chewbacca and
Porgs
also
aren't-
eaten by
Porgs
Chewbacca.
aren't sentient, right?
Definitely eaten by Chewbacca.
Porgs are like
Porks are like birds.
yeah,
just
they're
birds.
not yeah. So he gets interrupted by
Crazy
Lando.
duck.
Lando, yeah,
The porgs, though, they do have like animated reactions that
they're funny.
To watching Chewbacca eat them, which is a weird scene.
They're funny, but they're not.
You're right.
They're not. They can't like speak and like write
Or
poetry.
can
Yeah,
they?
write poetry. I don't think.
There is a porg book that exists.
Is it a buy a porg?
I think it's a children's book,
Okay,
but I'm
that's
just
fine.
saying.
Well, I'm right. I'm gonna go ahead and write. I'm gonna go ahead and write
It's
that off.
POV of a porg.
the
I'm right
Journal
now.
of the Porg.
Yeah, I'm
Porg
gonna-
of view.
That's fine.
My-
I'm gonna, from a certain porg of view.
See, you're on fire.
Luke's training with the Ewoks. He has an Ewok floating in midair. Lando shows up with Akbar, Chewbacca, and 3PO. Akbar's worried about the end of the rebellion and how there's no government because like the government has been such an overarching thing for so long. And so he tells Luke to go meet with other planets. This is like the first episode of Star Wars Clone Wars that ever came out. And
It really,
Yeah.
you know what? Honestly, really
yeah,
is.
he has to offer them the chance to participate in the council so everybody can have a say in the government. And he asks who's going to come with him, but everybody is he's like too busy. So Pliff's like, you know what? I'll go.
I'll come,
And they're
friend.
like, okay. So Luke's back on Iskalon now with Pliff, and he's shocked to see that there's somebody there already on Pavilion. And basically what's happened is exactly what he thought happened, which is that the underwater people have completely abandoned the surface for the most part. And
Which, frankly, they should have
I get
in the
it.
first
it
place.
was basically genocide that caused them to do it. So, like, they're pretty righteous.
Tower or whatever that is like crumpled in
Yeah.
the background. That was cool.
Yeah, so they're looking at the water, and Danny shows up, the horny Zeltron, and she always is telling Luke she's in love with him, and he's like so over it now that it's hilarious.
The best part is her friends roasting her, where the line is, she says, "I love you, Luke," and they're like, "You love any man or group of men."
Yeah.
I was like, damn.
Yeah, Jesus.
They do have like a little bit, because they like come back to them later, and I think Rick's like, all right, it's kind of like sucks to see her. I think like Luke not taking her up is like broken her like psyche a little
Like bumming
bit.
her out, yeah. What am I saying? Oh, yeah.
she moves on pretty
Rick
quickly.
Duel, who is not Han Solo, and Cheeto, who is not Greedo, show up also.
I can't believe they like actually are glup shittos, but
Yeah.
like in the name.
Yeah.
Yes.
Danny and the crew are on Iskalon to salvage whatever they can. They don't care about the sort of moral implications of this. They're like, "Hey, do you want to make some money too?" And he's like, "No, I'm here to get them to join our government, you assholes." They basically, what happens is right after he says that, one of those big sea serpents from last time shows up, a Chiaki.
Luke's like, yeah.
He's like, "Come on, guys, watch out."
get out of the way.
And he's like, "Listen, this sucks. You're hurting the people of this planet." They're like, "No, we're not." And he's like, "You got to look out for yourself." And then the Chiaki comes. Luke saves Rick's life. Pliff's like, that thing was like, I was able to talk to it psychically, and it like was guided here Aquaman style. This is not something that it would do normally. And then Luke senses like life forms nearby. He's like, "Get out of the way!" And then like some Iskalonian like warriors show up, and he moves them all to the other side, and he's trying to like fight them back now because they're coming on with
Those
like
panels
weapons.
of him fighting looks more like Iron Fist than it does Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's pretty cool though. Yeah. Luke tries to.
The one thing that they do now is like Luke is online as a warrior. Like
Yeah.
before he would like fight and not always like win or like whatever, but now it's like no, he was going to fight and he's going to destroy it. Like
That was
everything.
that was one of the
Yeah.
things they were talking about in that article too. Was one of the big differences about going past Return of the Jedi for the writers is that Luke is not a dusty boy anymore.
He's like a master.
They said he has no sand behind his ears. He is like confident in himself and like whips ass now.
Cool.
Which you see because other people get into issues and he like it's not like him getting into trouble. It's like him getting others out of trouble.
Yeah.
So Luke like calms it down. Kiro shows up.
He's got like a whole like he looks like they kitted him out.
Yeah,
He's got little bubble shoulders.
I do.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
It's cool.
If you
Yeah.
have a chance
A
to
kid
look
to
at
love.
it, it's in what is it in 82? You can check it out, issue 82.
Yeah.
She's like, "Come on, didn't you recognize his lightsaber? Oh, my old friend. What are you doing with these assholes?" And Luke's like, "I didn't know they were here. I'm here to get you to join the government." And Moan
You didn't recognize him? He has the same haircut exactly as Hero.
was like,
What do you mean? No, this is an underwater haircut.
Moan was like, "Listen, bro, I know, trust me, I know, but it ain't happening. We're not going to join you. Get the fuck out of here. Do not ever come back. I know, but don't ever come back." And that's basically like,
Didn't they say that to him the first time around too?
Yeah, but this time
He was
thought-
like, no, as long as the Empire is
Yeah.
around, don't come back.
He thought
and then
that-
he's
yeah.
like, they're gone, so I'm here. And then he's
he
like,
thought he could convince them to join, but he was like, "No, it's about like people and like government in general that got hurt here, not just good guys and bad guys. That's what happens in war. You know what I mean? That was the idea, but
Yeah.
they just didn't get there." Kiro's like, "Let me go along," and they're like, "No, if you leave, you're not part of us anymore." And then he's like, "Fine," and he goes with them. And he doesn't have to die anymore from water for some reason.
they're like, oh, this ancient one like recycles water better.
Yeah. So he's fine.
Yeah, like that's cool to go help somebody. It is a little weird. Like when anybody else leaves their homeworld, it's like it's fine, but you're so limited
Yeah.
in where you can go that just think about this.
Danny's probably thrilled though, That's as close to Luke as you're gonna get.
She probably got at least another 2 months of like thinking
She's
about
like,
Luke.
you have your own unique sword. You got your same haircut. It's a pretty
Close
easy.
enough.
Yeah.
You like to get wet?
Danny.
Star Wars 83 is called Sweetheart Contract. This one felt like it started like I missed issue number 1.
This is rad. This is like
This was a good story.
This is a proto. More than like this is a modern day Lando story, just with certain aspects. But like
the situation-
him solo, him like meeting an old leader, political leader that he like fucked.
The situation, the bit, the cartooniness, it's great.
It also totally makes sense that Lando, he's like the most morally flexible guy.
Yeah.
And always it feels like he gets brought in by somebody who will play, like, they're always doing the bad thing, but they're like, but Lando, like,
Fuck
won't
me.
ask too many questions.
Yeah.
It's just in this case, he's like, I've been with the Rebel Alliance too much. Now I, like, give a shit.
I
So,
gotta like
what's
be a
up?
good guy. Yeah, sorry.
But this was 100% the issue I was talking about that like felt like He-Man.
Yeah, 100%.
Just everything about it felt like a He-Man story.
Their
There's
whole
not. It doesn't
everything.
even take place in space, as far as I can tell.
Yeah.
the hair of the girl is like that 80s.
Both of them,
Think
the,
of, like,
the blonde and the
short,
dark
like-
haired girl. Yeah, they all had like an 80s. Like one was clearly a more evil Lynn, and one was more.
He's
like,
Derek
yeah.
Jacobi, like the like I Claudius, the Drebble dude,
Yes.
the real Drebble, which is so funny that we like loved Drebble so much because
I don't like Drebble as much.
I had legitimately.
I miss
hadn't-
the idea of Drebble.
I had not read ahead yet at the time that we did the last episode, and so it was very funny to me to be like, "Where's all this shit coming down on me from? Me, Drebble." And I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh my god, that is so funny." It's like a Guy Ritchie. It's like
Yes.
it's like the part,
Yes.
it's like the second act of a Guy Ritchie script.
Yeah.
Anyway, Lando is on Drogheda, and he's fleeing from some stuff that's shooting at him, and he's with Danu, whose sister called Lando to the planet to do a job. And the two make it off the sled just in time before it plummets down a cliff, and they're now hanging onto a tree, and there's like literally King Arthur's knights show up, the royal guard, to like pull them up onto the cliff, and they take them back to the throne room at the Citadel, where Queen Sarna, who is Danu's sister, is like, I need to talk to Lando.
Who has some strong, like, remember that comic we read where it was Lando and the Imperial Governor? Exact same vibe.
This is
We're
like, this
She
is
looks like
Queen
Morgana. Whenever I
Yes.
see her ever visualized in something, it's just the same look.
yes.
Yeah. After some flirting, she tells Lando that the revolutionaries, who she found out are connected to the Empire, are trying to depose her. And she's like, "Please help me. I will give you so much money that you can't say no. And maybe even fuck the shit out of you." And she's like, wink, wink. And he's like, and so he does it. And then Lando goes back to sleep.
He's a little bit like cool with that, but kind of.
Yeah, he goes, "Hibbity, hibbity, 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 hibbity. That's all, folks." And then he goes to his quarters. Got a little porky there for a minute. And got a little porgy there. Porgy pig. Danu pops out of the shadows and applauds Sarna for her performance. And Danu says, "I'm not interested in the business, but I want Lando." And Sarna's like, "What the fuck? Why don't you care about, like, the fucking crisis?" The revolutionaries are in the mine on Mount Meru, and the mine is going to shit because they can't mine. And she tells Danu to keep her hands off Lando and that she's going to go with him on the mission to lead them off the mountain. And as Sarna walks out, you realize that Danu is actually like double cross, like she's like betraying everybody. She's like,
Yeah.
she's got her own game. Next day at the mine, Lando's using his strategy skills. He's going to set a trap and he's going to capture these people. And he finds the back entrance of the mine. He goes in by himself. He leaves Danu and this dude, King Arthur, Lancelot guy, Harlech, behind to on the other side. He goes inside. He sets a trap on the water pipe to start a flood. But right after he places it, the revolutionaries show up. They recognize him, and they pull a gun on him. And
Crazy how famous
He's Lando.
Han Solo and Lando are in the galaxy that is so large.
yeah, they never show him on the news, which is the crazy part. Anyway, somebody tackles him. The detonator that was in his hand like goes off. It causes a huge flood. They all come out of the mine, and the Royal Guard is shooting at them. And Lando's like, "What the fuck? You said there's not going to be any killing." And he's like, "Sorry, they're just like sad because
This is pretty crazy. Like they just are opening fire. Like they still do this a lot where they try to like non-lethal stuff, but there is like a lot of straight up murder of like humans. They seem to do like turtle people, or like they're like a little bit cooler about that kind of stuff. But I think there's like a really funny moment between him and this guard that it would have been like improv in a movie where it's like, "Oh shit, so I like didn't actually recognize you."
He's like, "Sorry, show's fucked up. Show's fucked up. Show's fucked up.
I thought you were like, I thought you just were like one of those guys.
He's like, "The commander died. We're just shooting at anything right now. So sorry." Lando is
the ranks aren't as tight right now.
Lando's like, "What in the fuck is happening? Come with me. We're going to the Citadel. We're going to figure out what the fuck's happening." Lando ignores the Queen's orders to take the prisoner to interrogators, takes him to a room to find out what's actually going on with the situation, tries to like get real with him. He's about to get real with him. He even gives the gun back to the guy to prove that he's not trying to kill him, just wants to know what the fuck he's talking about. But before
this is like a pretty cool, like this would be like a pretty cool scene in a film if it was done a little whatever.
Yeah.
Like it's, and it's smart of Lando to be like, "All right, what the fuck is actually like?"
They lay
Obviously,
it
they're all
out.
telling me you're bad. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, they lay it out, but it's just kind of clunky because it's like a comic book. Harlech shoots the prisoner right before he's about to say what's happening. Danu walks in, is like, "Oh my god, a stranger!" Doesn't pretend.
Who I've never met.
Yeah, pretends like she doesn't know who it is. Lando's like, "Fuck all of you," and he leaves. And Danu tries to follow him, but because she's like also sad, but he like leaves, and he's at the bar. And he's like, "What in the fuck is happening here? Why did they attack me when I got here? Why were they waiting for me? How the fuck did they know who I am? What is going on? Like, who is betraying me?" And he thinks it's Harlech. And then he hears the guards talking about nipping this democracy in the bud. And he's like, wait. You're asking me to take down a fucking democracy? Yeah. And he goes to the Queen about that. And she's like, "What does it fucking matter? I'm just going to give you money. Just let it." And he's like, "No, I'm a rebel now." And she's like, "Fine." Guards, and the guards show up, and now he's like, bad guy. He's like, "Harlech, come on, dude." And Harlech's like, "No, I'm like not the bad guy. I'm not the mole." And then
Because it's like, "You're the mole." He's like, No,
he's
I'm
like,
not.
"No, I've been doing it." He's
you're like, "Damn."
He's like, "Fuck." And then so he starts running, and Danu's like,
That is such a. There are like, I like really like this.
Yeah.
And there are great bits that feel
Lando.
like, I think a big difference about this than the Lando books is Lando is not an idiot. He is wise. He's like driving the story where he's like, "This is not right. I'm getting to the bottom of this," instead of him being like, "What is this? Who is that? You're a guy? You're a cop? You're an alien in a thing pretending to be a cop? I don't know what's going on."
So Danu's like, "Wait, Lando."
I'm getting dumber by the moment.
Danu's like, "Lando, I'm actually working with the
In the most obvious, like
Yeah.
it's.
She's like, "I'm the contact. I'm the secret contact," which again,
Like,
straight out of Rise of Skywalker.
Of course you are.
The one who tipped them off. But the attack was like set up against you by the Queen to like make you hate the revolutionaries, is basically what she's saying. And then Danu says, "We got to get out of here. This is all going to blow up in like 5 seconds." They get out. It blows up. They're in the throne room. The Queen's like, "You got to find Lando." Outside, the revolutionaries are attacking. They blow the walls up by blowing up like a munitions dump or something like that. And like,
the ammo
like
stores.
they two towers it. Elsewhere, Lando is getting on an air sled, but there's like way too many guys. There's like jetpack dudes showing up. He's like, "This is
They fly
more than
now."
I signed up for." And he decides to go. He like decides, well, you know what? Like, fuck it. Goes off on the sled and just like fucking breaks through the window of the throne room. He's like, "Wait!" He has to stop, and they're like, "Holy shit, Lando!"
It is kind of funny because she's like, "You guys let like Lando go." She's like, "How could you let him go?" And then he like crashes right in.
And he pulls a gun on her like right away.
Yeah, he's just like, "I'll kill her."
Harlech's like, I'm loyal to the crown. Go ahead and kill her if you want. I could be
king
the king
of this,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'll be the king. Everybody gets surrounded by the revolutionaries. The knights surrendered outside. Harlech pulls his gun. He gets shot. The battle's over. Drogheda wins a democracy in the end somehow. And then it becomes clear that like actually Lando was also planning all of this last little bit together with the sister, and she's like, okay, get the fuck out of here. You made a deal with my sister.
Dude. Yeah, she's like, basically like, no, fuck you. Like, you're going to get paid by her.
Yeah.
We didn't make any fucking deal.
This is just you being a good guy, right? Right? And he's like, okay. And so she offers him money if he takes Sarna with her or with him. He's like, wait, money?
That was a great, she's like, I'll pay you if you take it. He's like, no way. And then like takes 2 steps and he's like,
how much money though?
Yeah. All right. Well,
yeah.
Okay.
So they're like going off together, and he's like, maybe you're going to be the bitchy wife that I always needed, or some shit like that. And they're like flying away. So that's that one. The next one, inexplicably.
Yeah. She was like, think about all the places we could like fleece. And he's like, lady, I'm the brains.
Yeah.
And I'm dropping you off at the first place I can.
Immediately. But that's like a classic setup.
It's just, I like this issue a lot.
This next one references Korea.
Soul searching.
In Soul Searching.
The first when I read that, I was like, what is this?
Like, why is it called that? But I guess it's just a random coincidence.
Soul 5, dude.
Yeah, so Han and Chewie have completed a diplomatic mission. They've got the leaders of Zada 3 to the Galactic Congress. They're celebrating that by drinking in a shithole, and Han is playing cards against this dude who's got a crystal, like one of those like Krypton crystals, like a big
one of
clear
the ones
crystal.
That Superman would put in the
a big resonant crystal.
This is a pretty sick, because it's like its own, like the last one, it's like its own little solo mission, and though the tech later on isn't great, it has the most cosmic-y, like they do some cool trippy visuals with the crystals,
similar to the Mind Harp of Sharu or something.
That, and also like the lights with the glow rods in the hallway feel kind of like cosmic Jedi, kind of feels like Rey.
You're going to be eating
like
so
yeah,
good.
I did like they talk about this guy is from the Empire's exploratory division.
Yeah, I thought that was cool.
Which I'm just like, that
what
is
the
like,
fuck is that?
Like that idea comes back. Like, I don't know. It's cool. Like, that's like imagination fuel. That's really sick.
Yeah. So he wants but that's what I'm saying. Like, you have to deal with Hoojibs because you can also get the Imperial Expeditionary Exploration Force or whatever.
Literally the way that they deal with politics later on, aside from that it's all still trapped in like 80s weird like comic vibes, is a very like well thought out take on like what happens after you overthrow a government. How do you get stability? How do good people let bad things happen? Like, they're all things that tie into the greater themes of Star Wars anyways. It's just like, then sometimes you have the fucking red people that just want to fuck down, or you got the
So the guy at the table wants to up the stakes, so he's like, how about a star map to the coordinates of Sol 5 system? And Han's like, the Sol 5 system has been gone for eons. Everybody knows that's a legend.
Honestly, I like that world building where it's like, it was destroyed long ago.
He's like,
the Galactic War. I'm like, that's cool.
He's like, no. And then the guy's like, I was there. He's like, before the war, I was a scout for the Empire. On my way back from mission, get knocked out of control by a meteor. I end up somewhere I've never been before. And he goes down to repair on the 5th planet of the system, and he finds a city that's a ruin. And he's like, this is Korean architecture. I recognize this. It's Solian. And he found a tunnel leading to a chamber of crystals, and he took one crystal. He doesn't say which one he took, but he took
he's
one.
like, I'll come back for them later.
But after leaving, war breaks out. He never was able to come back, but he knows where it is. So the man wants to wager the map for the Falcon. Han's like, that's crazy. And then he's like, oh yeah? And then he's like, check out this crystal though. And he's able to like use the Force on Chewie with it a little bit because it amplifies all power, including your mind's power.
It's funny, like his explanation for like why he didn't get to ever do, like the war broke out, so I never got to like get the resources to do it. But I'm like, we've read like 3 comics that are the same, like that they did do that. Like, so you needed a better pitch is what it sounds like.
So they get to the river, they get to the turn. Yeah.
By the way, when he uses his powers on Chewie, Chewie says, and I quote, Gronk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He does a brand deal out of nowhere. for Gronk, Rob Gronkowski.
Gronk.
So the money.
If he grew out his body hair, I could see them being similar.
Yeah, truly, they even sound the same. So Han, they show their hands. He's like, haha, there's only one hand that can beat this one. And Han's like, is it this one? And he's like, you're cheating. And he's like, no, I'm not. But they get away, but they don't get the money, but they do get the crystal, which is, and the map.
All you got to do, I'm learning, like, if you are ever in a thing and you're losing a bunch of money, just claim that your opponent is cheating because the entire bar or place will try to kill them immediately.
Who are you, a bandit?
They're like, oh, that's why we lost.
Are you a bandit from the 1800s? Hours later, the Falcon shows up in the unknown system near an unknown planet. They land on the planet. There's humanoid life forms by the ruins, according to Chewie. They get out of the ship. Han has a bad feeling about this, decides to go investigate by himself. Chewie's like, I don't like it when you go and do things by yourself, but whatever. He goes and does it. On the other side of the ruins, though,
I don't like it when you have agency.
He just,
Like, I feel like I can go on solo
like,
adventures because I'm Han Solo, but like I don't like it when you.
Chewie's like, you're just such a squishy guy. Like, you know, what's that
I
about?
leave you alone for 2 seconds and the fucking Chewbacca machine happens. Like you are not.
You're out of control, man.
So on the other side of the ruins, there's Imperial landing force there. Captain Dressel's there. They notice that it's the Falcon, and there is a cat man whose name is literally which is hilarious. They call him his pet furball. Yeah, he's literally called but it turns out this cat is not fucking around because it's like got like really, really chaotic psychic powers that like really hurt and can like mind read you and mind control you and all this shit. So he has a cape also, which is hilarious. He's like a man cat with a cape.
Dude, to the fucking stormtroopers who are so stupid, if you got a guy that does this, don't think or talk shit. And then he like lightly strokes them.
Yeah.
A little bit.
And not like in a good way, not in a hand way, like in a...
Not in a way that you would want to stroke a cat.
Like in a droopy face.
Yeah, they
sort
like
of way.
give him a little stroke. In the heart of the ancient ruins, Han is wondering why the place is like looking so good and whose life readings they were getting if there's nobody here. And then he finds the statue, and the map says there's a switch to open the door to the tunnel in a passage engraved onto the statue. And they read this like weird religious passage and make fun of it.
Where it's all about like, she gives, but she never gets.
Yeah.
And they have a glow rod. Nobody else was like, hey.
I feel like they basically were. So then he's about to hit the switch, and then the mind probe from the cat happens. The Imperials are getting close. Han notices, but the Catman gets him. Han drops and breaks the map, which is crazy, but he gets the switch and drops down into a trapdoor anyway. And he's like floating in like a void.
Cool, dude. It's like...
Yeah. He's like triply
trippy.
floating.
Yeah,
It looks like
it's
Mist. It looks like the first shot of Mist.
Yes, very cool.
And he's like lands in like a gravity field, which lets him land. He starts following this tunnel down there. There's like all these glowing rocks. That's what you were talking about. He does not notice that there's like this sort of like counter wine coming from the crystal that he has with him that he stole from the man, but it's like starting to act up and he doesn't realize it. And then he finds a control room at the end of the tunnel that has already been taken over by the Empire.
This is such a bummer because it's another one of those, like, it's a newsroom. It's like 4 cameras at a podium.
Yes.
Yeah. The Empire is there with a camp, but they're like not there currently. He's looking around. The crystal starts to get louder and louder. So do all the other crystals. Then there's footsteps. They hide. The stormtroopers come in, but where he's hiding is Dr. Xanthan, who is an archaeologist, and Femme Noir, who are hiding in the ruins. They are the Empire-backed explorers that found Sol 5 and sent along the Empire sent along the stormtroopers that are there to protect
Look, we don't
the
agree with their
scientists.
methods, but their checks do.
Yeah, they pay.
Yeah.
They pay well.
Yeah. So they find out that the crystals are sort of like key to the technology of everybody who lives here, that they make it so that you can mind control all the tech. And then suddenly shows up and tells the Imperials where everybody is. And the scientists get confined and used for weapons development. And so Femme Noir is like, so will you help us? Han is like, we will help you, but also be quiet because you are talking too much, because Han doesn't like it when women talk.
He likes it when women kiss him, though.
Yeah.
It is like crazy that it's like she just explains stuff and it's like, all right,
Yeah, slow down. Slow
calm
down,
down.
Jabberwocky.
let the doctor say something here.
Yeah, let somebody who makes me feel comfortable talk. They run. Han gets close to the control panel. The crystal starts going crazy. They're like, "Oh my god, you have the key crystal, and you got to keep that from the Empire." And so the scientists run away, and the captain and the cat show up. Everybody gets quiet because the cat's like trying to control Han's mind, but Han, while holding the crystal, apparently like gets like instant force powers. He's able to like defend his own mind against the probing telepathy of the cat, and he like throws
One time his like self-aggrandizing ego is actually like an asset.
Works for him, yeah.
Yeah, his hand like
My self-assuredness is my superpower.
his hand like locks in. There's like light and sound. When his vision comes back, Xanthan and Noir are there, and he pushes them into a tube to take them all back to the surface. And he says that he tells them what happened. He tells them he had like this weird interaction. They're worried that all the crystals might cause something or the whole facility to blow up. He's like, okay. They
A little resonance cascade.
Yeah, something like that. They get on the Falcon just in time. The fighters start to lock up on the ship, but the planet blows up. The Falcon gets like blasted away, and Fem like kisses Han, and
That's the end of it is he's like, I love when ladies kiss me. And that's it. Like he gets the girl.
yeah, shoutouts
Like,
And I'm like, wait a minute.
what about Leia?
Yeah, I was like, what about Leia?
shoutouts to Hilda who wrote this. She said Falcon gets blasted to safety, and Han gets a little kiss on the lips from Fem, even though he told her to shut up earlier. God, I miss the 70s.
He told her to shut up because he knows that you can't talk and kiss at the same time.
Right.
Yeah, that's what he was. He was like, less of this, more of this.
Yeah, when he called her sweet tits, it was like crazy, but like, different time.
In that culture, it's different.
In a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah, you just have to. It is a different galaxy, different time.
Yeah.
I like the crystal stuff. I am a sucker for crystals. I don't know, like
It was
they're
a fun
tight
story.
in Kryptonian stuff. They're tight in that cave in the book. What is it? The second book that comes after
the Lando book?
Nope. The second piece of Star Wars
Splinter
media.
of the
Splinter of the
Mind's
Mind's Eye.
Eye.
Thank you. I also just love the idea, and I think we like revisit the idea of crystals enhancing force power. Like,
Crystals are intrinsic to Jedi in so
I was
many
just
ways.
like, toss the baton to Luke. I want to see what he can do with that.
Dude, you're not going to... The guy who loves Luke is going to be very happy.
I love Han, and I will still love Han, but now and for the next like 30 years till we catch up to the sequel trilogy, I'm like eating the Hook meal. I'm just like,
Yeah, it's going to be
You're imagining it, is what
fighting
you're saying.
you. It's like
Yeah, yeah.
wonder. No,
It's gonna
but
be
it's
Luke
like
and Boba
when
Fett
you see it, it's
forever.
like all just in and out.
Dark Jedi, Luke, Boba Fett, and What If a Jedi Was Evil 1 million times. Star Wars 85 is called The Hero.
Yo,
Wait, not called Hunter's World?
No, it's called The Hero. But we're in Hunter's World.
one of the biggest problems that I had when titling these is they would give you the first page would have a thing,
Yeah.
like a tag, and then it would tell you the title of the issue.
Oh, so that must have been the tag that I wrote.
Yeah, there's sometimes where I'd write down the tag and be like, wait, that's not what it's called. I must stress this issue.
Oh, shit.
It's either the cover or page one. I don't know. I can't remember. But it is genuinely hilarious because the image is if Han Solo looked like Bruce Campbell and if Chewbacca looked like Alex. Go find the image is hilarious.
Where is it? What is it?
I think it's either the cover or that splash page on the very first thing of issue 85. But it is one of the funniest. It does not look like Han Solo at all, and it does not look like Chewbacca at all. It looks like if Alex was riding in like with Bruce Campbell off to go to an adventure. Yeah, there it is. Dude, that's just hilarious.
Oh, yeah, dude. This,
Yeah, it's the cover.
yeah, he looks like, what was the Police Academy guy?
Who?
3 Men and a Baby. Police Academy.
Tom's. No. Ted Danson.
Nope.
No, the other guy who was in the Police Academy guy. Oh my God. He was in a bunch of movies in the early 90s and 80s.
I know he also was like in
Tom
a
Selleck.
great episode of Party Down.
Oh
Scott Bakula.
No,
Steve
no.
Gutenberg.
Gutenberg.
Oh,
yeah.
when he's
I like can't believe I just brain farted there.
Dude,
but,
when he goes and talks to him at the table.
doesn't it look like him?
Yeah, it does.
He has like
Has that-
curly hair in that.
It
Twilight
is
Zone,
so funny. That
Tower
image.
of Terror, the movie.
Yeah, the face of Chewbacca is not.
I'm telling you.
Like
He has like no hair on his eyes.
It's just
it's like if he had to go to the vet. They had to, like,
they shaved it off.
Yeah, like he had to like
Oh
put
my
on
God.
goggles. Yeah, like he had to put on the Virtual Boy, and the Virtual Boy just cut all his hair off.
It is a truly ridiculous.
So,
it-
so we're on Hunter's
that's a
World.
cover, dude.
Yeah.
That's a cover.
Yeah. We're on Hunter's World, and the owner of the place is a big dude in a purple tunic. He's yelling about how he wants Lando to be dead, and that as sure as his name is Drebel, which is hilarious. And Bosk and IG-88 are there.
I must stress to you, I wrote the note. There is nothing threatening and will never be anything threatening about a fat guy in a muumuu. It's
No.
just not a villain.
He looks like Phil from Hercules.
He's just not threatening.
like, is it supposed to like Roman Emperor is like the vibe I get, or just like one of those like?
I guess.
Actually, Jabba is like the best version of this.
Yes.
Yes.
You like take the idea of the guy being fed the grapes and is evil and make him like a lizard.
Yes.
Yes. This is not that. This guy was like, he's not a threat to our heroes. This
Nobody
is so silly.
fucks with Drebel.
Okay,
Yeah.
Drebel.
Also, Bosk is like.
Bosk is not
He's
looking well.
not.
He's not looking well. Bosk and
Bosk
IG-88.
looks like one of the sons of Bowser from Mario
Yes.
3.
They didn't decide to build him out yet, I don't think. I
Okay.
think these comics artists thought he was just...
IG-88 though?
Looks exactly the same as always. He's like a stick with like some circles on him. He's great. So they're happy to help for the right price, but they're wondering what the fuck
Can't
is
say
going
that
on.
about IG-88, dude.
Whatever.
A stick with
I heard he's a dick.
circles
I heard,
on it.
I heard he's a dick. So nobody knows what the fuck Lando did to Drebel, which is funny. Drebel explains that Lando double-crossed him and is a like smirking asshole cheater clown. Endor in the Ewok
Oh, yeah.
village.
They don't ever explain it either. Just both of them.
They talk about it. They do explain what the hell the situation is.
I thought they like speak about it vaguely, but like Lando feels fucked over by Drebel, and Drebel feels fucked over by Lando.
Yes. But then we find out that actually Lando's plan works the opposite way. So in Endor, in the Ewok village, Chewie is accusing Lando of cheating after losing a card game to him. Han is like, no, Lando's just good at cards. So Chewie just leaves angry. Han and Lando are talking about how shitty Ewoks are at gambling. And then Han asks Lando about Chewie because he seems like he's like even more angry than usual. And Han's like, he just misses his family, dude, but he doesn't want to like be seen as a bitch because even though the Death Star is like done, he really wants to go home, but he just like he won't until somebody tells him he can.
This was a very real moment. I do a lot of like Magic the Gathering weekends with my buddies.
Yeah.
And sometimes in the heat of a game, something happens and you like one of us will like lose our cool and just
Yeah.
like walk off, and it's like,
He's having a rough
is everything
time.
okay at home? And it's
Yeah.
like,
Oh man, he's
it really wasn't about. No. I know it wasn't about the card game.
yeah. He's having.
You
a
know
rough
what I
time,
just
man.
realized? This bad guy is supposed to be like Baron Harkonnen.
Yeah,
Like that's the vibe.
Yeah.
Except not even remotely.
he's supposed to be like.
I guess he looks like the movie version, but again, you put him in a fucking maternity
Purple? Yeah, it
like
looks ridiculous.
thing,
If
and
Little
it's like,
Caesars was founded by like an actual Roman guy,
This would be
This would be the guy.
Little Caesar was ironic.
this was Big Caesar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They were doing a goof.
So Lando. So Wedge tells him that Mothma and Akbar are going to have a briefing on Endor, and they're talking about Drebel. Lando thinks this is funny because he tells everybody, I've been talking shit on Drebel because he fucked me over, and so this is priceless. But actually, it looks like he's like, oh, if Drebel gets in trouble, then I get in trouble. But if I get in trouble, then Drebel gets in trouble. Mothma's like, we need more ambassadors, the same thing that we've been talking about this whole time, that will shape the galaxy.
they should have called it Drebel Trouble.
Drebel Treble. Isn't Dwebble a Pokemon? Anyway, Akbar takes...
You would know.
And
Yeah.
Drevel was an Imperial from like an issue ago.
Yeah. Akbar takes over the briefing.
Words are fun.
And Danny and Dooney.
He's like, Akbar's like, actually, we need to tell Drebel thank you because he's like a huge hero for the rebellion.
This is the stupidest.
This is hilarious.
The stupidest plot point of this whole thing.
Hilarious.
Is like they're like, let's call a meeting, everybody. We have to find this like they're serious. I don't know how they found out any of this shit. It doesn't actually make any sense.
They've just been hearing of
They're
a
like,
mysterious Drebble.
This fucking American
But it's
hero
Lando.
Drebble.
But it's
it's
Lando.
all Lando, the stuff Lando did, but it's like everybody in the rebellion does heroic things like this all the fucking time.
Perfect Lando fix-up.
It's fine.
He's so fucked, Lando. It's so funny. So he's going to be a hero. Han is like, I need to take Chewie. I'm going to go to Kioran. And actually the reason that he's doing that is because he's trying to like low-key set up a situation where you can like, oh, look, Chewie, we're passing by Kashyyyk. You want to... I mean, there's no reason why we can't just stop by. It's on the way. I mean, it's perfect. He's like trying to like make that happen for Chewie. And Lando's like, you know what? I'll come, but I'll come in a different ship just in case anything happens in the story that makes us split up. And so...
Well, he also...
The idea is
they like overly explain it because they're like, that way, Chewie, you can go home for a little bit and
chill.
we'll continue the mission and you won't feel like you missed out.
But they don't tell Chewie that. They just tell... They're like being homies together. And Chewie's like, yay!
It is kind of like cute that like Lando canonically now has a bunch of like Chewie friends. Like they both are like... It's like, you know, I don't know.
Go on, bud. Yeah. Kioran is the hunter's world. Han gets talking to the big boss in town. Doesn't seem very interested in what he has to say. The rebels end up in a bar.
No, he actually does the like Han talks to the leader of that the way that like a scoundrel because like
he's trying to like
they're all going on these diplomatic missions to like get people they're just like, we need to establish an alliance and we want people to come show up. And so instead of being like that, Han's like, you know, there's this new thing and
he's trying to...
there's going to be a lot for the taking if a smart person steps up and
hey, I'm on your side here.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of cool. I don't know. He like plays to him. It's like,
Yeah, exactly. They end up in a bar. When Lando sees the bounty hunter Bosk come in, him and Chewie are like, ooh. And Han's like, what? What the fuck is up with Bosk? What is going on here? And Han is like, you know, they call this place the hunter's world because it means as long as you don't mess with people, like, you can, like, do your business here. And they're like, ooh. And he's like, okay, so while you were...
It's just weird because I might be like, yes. So as long as you don't fuck with anybody... You're good. I would not call that hunter's world. I would just call that.
Well, if you're the hunter, if you're a bounty hunter, it's your zone.
Yeah.
You can like do your illegal shit, go kill some dude as long as you don't kill some other dude or whatever. It doesn't really make sense. Lando explains that, hey, listen, Han, while you were frozen, me and Chewie got mixed up in some shit. There's a lot of bounty hunters trying to get you right now. Sorry about that. But hey, you're used to it, right? Isn't that perfect? And also we pissed Bosk off really a lot. So I tricked him. So he's trying to get us. So they're like, fuck. So they try to get out by like just paying and leaving. But the fucking bartender of the bar behind the bar is Drebble. And he's like, they both say you at each other, which is hilarious. And then they just take off. Shit goes crazy. Han, Lando, and Chewie are being chased by Drebble's boys. The two bald guys are like, oh man, is that Han Solo? And then they turn a corner and then Bosk is there and they're shooting. And then Lando's like, I think those bald guys are the guys from the goddess statue guys. Because Han doesn't know that he was like the expert in that goddess statue story from the other day.
Yeah, the redheads show up.
The very tiny universe where the people in the bar were already talking about Han Solo.
They're from the Drebble story.
I know. And then Lando comes in as Drebble talking about... It's just like how I talk about, like, they make these worlds minuscule by everybody knowing Han and talking about him all the fucking time.
But the alternative is that they just don't meet and then there's no story.
Or you just tell a different story. I don't know. Like...
Okay. Yeah, I mean, sure.
Drebble, though.
So... They're being chased by Drebble's guys. He's like, you don't know this, but I told them that you can find this like statue. And then they get found like
Also, the idea that they think that you are like a guy to hire for a job, so they're like attacking you is like, or kidnapping instead of just being like, let's work together.
I think by the end they decide, oh, we need to capture him and like force him to tell us because he'll never tell us. But I don't remember exactly how it happened. They're on a rooftop. They run off. They jump over literal buildings to get to the Falcon. They get to the door of the Falcon, but Drebel's already there, shoots him in the chest, which is crazy. The bald guys are like, we need Chewie and Han. Drebel's like, here you go, because I got Lando already, and I got Lando's ship already, so I'm all good. And then we got Limo and Sanda, and they're trying to get Han. He's hanging by his wrists from a pair of energy binders. He's like,
you got,
yeah.
You know who's great at energy binders?
Huh.
Lando.
Yeah, exactly.
He'll stab you in the fucking eye.
He's like, hey, where's the dancing
with
goddess?
A fishing rod.
Han's like, I don't know who the fuck that is. You guys got played by Captain Drebel. He realizes that they don't know that Lando and Drebel are the same guy, which is hilarious. And then he's like, so let me tell you this. If you just let us go, I'll tell you where Drebel is. And then Bob's your uncle. Because, that's a totally other guy that's not Drebel or Lando that you guys can go get. So on Lando's ship, Drebel is trying to figure out the controls to go back to his homeworld, where Lando first cheated him like before the story, before he decided to dress up as him. And then a hologram of Mon Mothma appears that's like, this is to let you know that Captain Drebel is getting his accommodations and decorations. And Drebel's like, wait, what? And he's like, am I a hero? And then another intercom goes off and it's like, Drebel, if you don't get off the ship, we're going to fucking kill you.
Drebel, you complete asshole. Yeah. If you don't give us that hot goddess statue right now.
And he's like, what? Nobody takes my friends hostage. So
it's also, I don't think it's a nitpick. I think it's a fair criticism. They're threatening him and they show the ship he's on and safe in has a turret.
Yeah.
Like, ace him. Yeah. Kill him. God, I hate this fucking issue.
So
it's not great.
I wrote, because I was like so excited, I'm like, yo, the real Drebel. And then it's like, this is not the kind of post-Jedi storytelling that I was hoping or expecting to read. It's like a sad note I wrote.
It has a great idea.
I was like, I did not realize all this random bullshit from the back would just come full circle here.
It has a great idea that the real Drebel is here and he's been pretending to be Drebel and it's like such a Lando-y situation. Great idea. They just didn't know what to do with it.
Just last issue, I didn't know I was wishing on a monkey's paw. I thought I thought it was a lamp that to like have something with the real Drebel. I take it back. I don't.
So then Han gives Chewie a glance and Chewie pretends to die because Wookiees get really excited and torture and like pass out and die from stress.
As they do.
So they start to
Notorious.
check on him and play dead, and Han like just waits. Chewie like busts out. They like take him out and they put them in the wrist locks.
He goes to check and then he just roars at him, which
scares him into Han's arms. Yeah.
Legitimately, that would be like you would give somebody a heart attack.
Yeah, literally. Back on Lando's ship, Drebel and the boys, they have guns. They're ready to do whatever. Lando's like, listen, I have a plan. You have to take my binders off. They step out of the ship, hands up, with Limo and Sanda, like they're all
like just waiting there. Yeah.
Han and Chewie appear on the other side. They're ready to shoot everybody. This is not part of Lando's plans. Now they're shooting at each other and he's like, fuck.
There's a hilarious line before this when they're like coming out where it's like, Drebel basically is like, you know what? Everybody dies eventually. It's like, it's about dying next to the people that you love that matters.
And then he walks out.
Bosk is like, you know what? You've always been a great boss, Drebel. I'm like, what the fuck are you? Shut the fuck up. What are you talking about, Bosk?
That's not the Bosk you know. That's Proto Bosk.
I like you better when you're like...
That's Brown Bosk. Don't worry about him.
Like...
That's the Eastman and Laird Bosk. Don't worry
Bunk.
Don't worry about him.
Bunk, boss.
It's like
Bunsk.
Nothing about him, about any of them. That line is just like, you know what? I love you, dude. It's
He's
like,
just-
fuck you guys. Or like...
They're just hippies, dude.
They
They're
were
just
getting
chilling.
high in the back with Lando.
Yeah, he's just a lizard. He's a chill lizard.
love you, boss.
It's not very hot, so I'm just cool.
So then Drebel's like devil Stenax men, the like demons with guns show up. They're like demons in underwear with guns. They're like space hawk men, warriors.
And they can
bounty hunters. They're more powerful than the bounty hunters, so the bounty hunters give up. Han says, "Congrats, Captain Drebel. Great work." And the real Drebel is like, "You know what? It wasn't anything. Like, I'm honestly like, it was an honor." And Han and Chewbacca are free. Drebel asks Lando for his recommendation. Lando goes into his ship to get it, comes out, gives him the funky dancing goddess statue, closes the loop on everything. They're like, oh shit, the statue. So now those guys don't care about Lando or Han or anyone anymore. Drebel's like, a fine reward, and they're going to go off and have a horrible time double crossing each other for the statue.
Doesn't it end there?
Yeah.
Like it ends like a butch. Well, I guess like it has one of those like cut. It's like you're just some shit is about to go fucking down, and they like if you let it roll for 2 more seconds, somebody's face
They're all
is
dead.
dead.
Yeah.
Then we get this like kind of simplified story, which again reminds me of a story from the Leia comic, I think.
It's the
Honestly,
Alderaan factor.
Yeah.
I like this.
This is a bottle episode, and for me, it inspired. I was like, man, a fucking like Ghosts of Alderaan, like a story about like Munich style, or like even with hunting down, where if you're like Alderaanian refugees and you're like the Empire is over, but like fuck that,
We're hunting down
gonna
the
like
Tarkin
hunt
family
down
or whatever.
Yeah, anybody that was like a little cozy, comfy little guy.
Krennic's like,
Yeah,
or
that'd be sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea. This is the Alderaan factor. Luke is following the princess, trying to hand her a blaster. She doesn't want the blaster. She has a mission in a small system called Yinchor system, and she needs to prove to them that she trusts them, so she's not going to have a gun. And Luke's like, well, just bring...
Dude, everybody has bodyguard. This is not... You're not proving any point, Leia.
Just bring a beacon at least. And Leia's like, okay. Leia goes to Yinchor. It doesn't look like the safest, chillest planet ever. She asked the pilot when she can meet with the Elder Council, but the pilot's like, be patient.
The pilot's like TURTLE
Yeah.
power.
Yeah, literally, instead of... The Ninja Turtles are all over this episode, low
This
key.
is pure Ninja Turtle.
Yeah, low key.
I actually would like, because they look kind of cool. Like, I kind of wish, I'd like to see these done real, like with like a actual prosthetics and stuff. Like this would be kind of a cool race.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it
They're
turns out the escort that the pilot's waiting for is actually 2 TIE fighters, and that she's been sold out, and the elders have been captured, and they're trying to trade Leia's life for theirs. The Empire starts firing. The Yinchori are panicking because they thought that they were like figuring it out, but actually now they have to be on teams with Leia because they got betrayed by the Empire too. And Leia's like, just fucking shut up and let me save you guys. And she's like, I'm getting on the guns. Leia blows up one of the ships. She's about to take out the other one. She was like, why did I come by myself? What an idiot. And she's like, actually, fuck that. I'm Princess Leia, fuckers. And then she almost blows up the other ship, and she does blow it up, but it gets a shot off, and they end up crashing. And she just before she crashes, she sets off the beacon that she got from Luke. So
Her air tag.
Yeah, and then far away, Luke gets the signal. Lando's like, it might be nothing. And Luke's like, but it's the Empire. Let's go. And
It might be nothing. The emergency beacon I gave her.
He's like, I'm a Jedi
It
Knight.
might be nothing, Lando.
Yeah. He's like, I'm a Jedi. Just come with me.
Lando was just tired. Man.
Yeah, back on.
I get it. Like when I woke, if I like wake up and there's something happening, I had a coffee. I'm like,
just turn
He'll
it
solve
off.
itself.
That's someone else's problem. Yeah.
We don't need Luke. He's done his job. He's not. So back on Yinchor, the elders are in the camp in the sun. Governor Wessel's there. He finds out that the shuttle crashes pretty nearby. Then there's one stormtrooper who lived from the second TIE fighter. He's looking for the crash site, and he wants to kill them because over his radio, it's like kill them all, kill everybody.
the one thing I agree with about this Imperial guy is he's like, don't wait for them to land. Kill her immediately. Like, she gets away.
Yeah.
Kill her the moment you can kill her, kill her.
Just shoot her.
And
Yeah.
be done. I don't give a shit about 4 tortoises.
Yeah, just shoot her. Leia is wounded. He tries to get her out with a spear, but she wakes up and gets out of the way of the spear. And then Leia is like, what are you doing? And he's
And
like,
it turns out he was like just trying to break her free.
right, because he's like, I'm from Alderaan, and you're like a shitty little pampered princess. What do you know about anything? And then they're talking about like what was going on the planet. They're talking about
this issue is like the whole theme of, I feel like the back half of this is like people being like, what do you know, you pamper princess? And her being like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, she's like, I kill people as a job. Then the two Rolk Magir, which are the Horned Death, appear in the shadows because the human voices were attracting them. They're like big bugbears.
Dude, this is like some House That Had Two shit. They're like a weird slug.
They look like those
crazy.
They look like those things, those bugbear things, the little bacteria guys that are like bears. You know,
Yeah.
Water bears. What are they called?
You know, like sea monkeys, they're not actually part of that
They're not actually monkeys.
genus of creatures.
They just look like that. They just look like those little guys. They're talking about honor. They're talking about Alderaan. They're talking about Leia's father. The trooper pulls out his like necklace that he got from Alderaan, and it like really affects her. But then the like big scary Rolk Magir thing shows up and picks the trooper up by his leg, and Leia grabs a blaster, and she's like, "Should I save him?" Well, I guess he's from Alderaan, so she saves him. The Falcon shows up and finds Leia, but it also picks up a bunch of Imperials, so they're like, fucking shit. But hey, we're the fucking rebels. We're the fucking Star Warriors. Let's do this. So they go in. Back on the surface, Governor Wessel gets to the trooper helmet beacon. But he's also reading Leia there, and he's like, is he not killing, like, let's stop. Let's figure out what the fuck's going on. Leia and the trooper are getting chased by the bear things. They jump from a cliff onto a ledge. Leia loses her footing and falls. The trooper catches her and pulls her up. On the ledge, they talk about Alderaan again, and Leia's like, you're just excusing your own complicitness in like genocide and shit by saying, oh, I'm just following orders. And he's like, good point. And
yeah, they do, like, as far as these kind of the writing in these comics go, a pretty like nuanced. They actually spend time back and forth being
It's
like,
not-
you don't give a shit about us, you like rich person. Like Alderaan didn't do shit for me. And
it's
it's
not
like,
not tackling like grown-up themes. It's just not doing them amazingly.
no, but I'm saying for how they do this a lot of the time, they're
This is
actually
much
spending
better.
time
Yeah.
on it. And like, I don't know, Alderaan gets referenced a little bit, but they don't do a ton with it.
And when we do get Alderaan stuff, it's like that one story about the guy who's like, I sent my daughter back there. She'll be safe on Alderaan. And you're like,
Yeah.
But it's like Leia, I mean, I'm trying to remember,
There's a great moment.
like that kind of stuff when I was a kid wasn't the most exciting to me. So maybe they deal with this a lot going forward. But it's like, this should be a thing that like haunts the galaxy and her for a long time. And it kind of just gets like washed over because there's more stuff going on. But
That's
it's
the best line that's the best line in the comic is she's like, you're from Alderaan. Like, how are you not fighting the Empire with everything? He's like, yeah, but what if the rebellion loses? And she's like, oh, I'm sorry. I thought I was talking to a man.
yeah.
And he's like, oh, shit. So he's like, come with me, you fucking asshole. And he puts his helmet back on, and he's got like this like big rock on a necklace.
It's so weird that he has like a chain, like a thick gold. Just imagine it in your fucking head, and it's got like a rock, like a bunch of crunch.
That
three times larger
like
than normal,
like a Bucky's nugget.
I am I'm food motivated, so that's how I see the world.
A big Bucky's nugget.
a bunch of crunches.
Beaver
is the
nugget.
perfect way to describe it.
Luke and
Where did it come from? Where did you tuck it?
it's a big shell under there. It's hollow, like a guitar. Leia is showing up at the Empire spot. Luke and them are showing up at the same time, but like watching from far away. Governor is like, you are about to watch the death of this planet before I kill you. And he's like, wait, what? And he's like, no, it doesn't matter. I'm killing her. And so the trooper like finally, like when he's like, just kill all these elders and kill Leia. He's like, no. And so he shoots the dude instead of shooting Leia. And the Alderaanian trooper is like, just kind of like basically instantly has the change of heart that Leia was trying to get him to have a second ago. The Falcon lands. Luke tells Leia to run for it. The governor is ordering the trooper to kill the princess, but he is like, no. And he's like, I'm going to join the rebellion. and she's like, don't kill the governor. And he gets shot, and he's like dying, and he's still holding on, and he has to let go to let Leia get out. And
But she gets to keep
she's holding
the bunch of crunch.
Right.
the souvenir Alderaan rock that he had in his hands.
That last shot is like heartbreaking.
It's
she's
brutal.
like all torn up, and she's holding the necklace, and it's like,
That's it. Like, they sometimes go there.
yeah.
And now for some hilarious comic relief. After that, this one is
Still
called
active after all
Still
these-
active after all these years.
I think when I read the big collections, I don't see the title. Like, this is the first time that I like really.
If you get
do they always do puns, or is it just this one where they're doing? Like,
I don't
bits?
know. They're always kind of zany. I'll say that. But of course, we get to see what's happening with Rick and Cheeto, Danny and Kiro, the people that we wanted to know. They're getting a transmission from Luke, who's like, "Hey, I got landing clearances. Can you guys just like not be assholes for 5 seconds, please?"
Oh yeah, because like they set up the whole samurai armor thing, and then they're like, and now 4 issues, not with those crew.
Yeah.
Also, I learned in this episode, con artist is short for confidence artist.
Yes.
Yeah.
I did not know that. I just like came into a world where con artist is there, and I was like,
Sure.
that's a great.
Confidence man, you never heard that?
Yeah, a con man is a confidence man.
Oh, I didn't. Just because it's like schemes require like just bullshit confidence.
Cons, yeah.
Yeah, like you just.
So we're on Shawkin, is the name of this planet, and Luke meets up with Santor, who is talking diplomacy with Luke, and then a bunch of scavengers who are bored, the crew are like, "Can we just like go? This is like so fucking boring." And Santor's like, "Yeah, just go to these fucking catacombs while the big boys play. It's like nobody's ever explored them before. Just go check them out or whatever. Don't worry about it." And Kiro's never been out of an ocean. So he's just like mind blown by everything that's happening. The scavengers get to the catacombs.
And they really are just like Fluke Skywalker, like instead of no water, he's from the all water place.
Fluke Skywalker. Danny tries
And
to
Danny's like,
Danny
pretty
tries to
okay.
talk to this dude in the catacombs, and he runs away because he's like too scared of like how sexually forward she is.
They drew like he is a weird. I read him as like villain coded. He has that like a peasant guard from like the Alan Moore style stuff, and he has like a weird look on his face. But then he just is just.
He's just there to be weirded out by Danny. And then we see Luke having wine and fruit with the governor, Santor, or whatever his name is. He's talking about what's going on with all the people around and how actually the people that I brought here are not ambassadors. They all like left their people and are like with me because we're friends. And he's like, honestly, the scavengers, just to be honest with you, are probably robbing you right now in the ruins. And he's like, they're like, ha ha ha. And Luke's like, no, I'm serious. And Kiro's like, what? And he's like, I got to go stop them. So Kiro decides to like
Dash off.
Go stop them from stealing it in that moment. And Luke and Santor stay behind. Santor does not give a shit about any of this for some reason. Back in the catacombs.
It's weird because he talks about like this civilization. They're like not phased by them. They're like, we're so old that most of our we like
They're just
forgotten way
used to
more
it,
than remember.
yeah.
He's like, people come and go and they don't leave a mark. But he was like, well, they have been excavating those things that we haven't seen in forever. Why don't you just go? Like, why don't you just go there?
It's like those countries.
Crazy.
It's like those countries in Europe that like their government is like never functioning, but it's just like fine because it's just kind of like you just still do the same stuff they did back in the day.
I know that
usually
they need
works
to do
out.
this so that I guess this crazy story happens. But the idea that it's like, just go send them to like a fair or like a movie or like, why were you like, hey, go to the place that the guys that were running us secretly wouldn't let us in and were digging. And then when you get there, you just remember the backstory of
What are you
exactly
gonna do?
this doomsday
What are you gonna
thing.
do with kids?
It's fucking nuts, man.
What are you gonna do with kids? What are you gonna do with kids? In the catacombs.
Rick's like 45.
And what's that compared to a son? You know.
right. Yoda was 900, so like, in the
Yeah,
grand scheme
Yoda's
of
900.
things-
That's perfect. In the catacombs, the
got me.
scavengers they found a wall with carvings, and they wonder how they might steal the carvings. And Kiro's like, "Don't steal the carvings." And Kiro and Cheeto are about to like fight.
Cheeto? Is that actually his name?
It's Greedo, but it's Chi.
Okay. He like pulls a gun on Kiro and is about to shoot him.
Kind of for fun, but kind of for real.
He was like gonna do it, and I think Kiro's like, "Were you gonna shoot me?" He's like, "What? You got me worked up."
Yeah.
It's like the most casual of like, yeah, I was going to kill you. Like, what do you mean?
It's the Old
you
West.
came at me.
It's the Old West.
It's like
serious.
so crazy.
So then they end up like hitting a secret switch on accident, and then it traps them in the room, and then behind them, and then it starts ticking, and they're freaking out. But back with the governor,
Thank God that like bombs and shit like announce their presence.
Right. They must alert you. That's a rule. That's a bomb rule.
it's just good. It's just good ethics.
Right. You need a countdown and everything.
Luke asks Santor to choose a representative. Santor's servants are like, "Oh, but Santor's the best representative." He's like, "Really?" And Santor's like, "Yeah. I mean, come on. They all. What about? Hey, why don't you feed Pliff, right?" And Pliff's like, "I already ate." And they're like, "What?" He's like,
I've just been eating
"I
this
eat
whole
energy,
time.
and I've been eating at my own leisure." And he's like, "Oh, well,
So weird.
we have lots of energy, so it's all good." I thought it was going to pay off somehow, but it
No.
really doesn't.
No.
Yeah.
You're right. He like later drinks a bunch and gets like, but does that even do anything?
No,
Not in the plot.
it feeds him. So he starts asking Luke about his lightsaber, and the guy who comes in earlier to meet them talks about he heard blast or fire and the door shuts and whatever, and now there's like energy pulsating everywhere. Back in the cavern, Rick Duel is starting to get really freaked out, and they're trying to figure out what to do. And Kira and Cheeto are like, "Oh fuck, we fucked up. Nothing's working." Danny is like truly panicking because, like Storm, she doesn't like to be in like small spaces.
There was like a bullshit panel that I took a picture of where like the door shuts on them and Rick takes Kiro's sword and he's like, "Wait a second, maybe I'll slide the knife." No, it's absolutely flush. Nothing will fit through. But they're showing the thing all the way through.
Maybe it's flush halfway through. Maybe there's a notch.
It's flush all the way through. It's just I don't. Have you ever had somebody be like, "Look, it's a cat," but there's like a cow in front of you? You're like, it's weird.
Do you think they just don't know what flush means? And
I think they
like,
just drew, I think they just wrote it before they drew it.
Maybe it's like the writer where you're saying like they like make it up later or something. I don't know.
Like they just wrote that line at a separate time from when that art, which was already finished, was there. I don't know. Somebody
When
had
I'm
to write
just
it.
bumming on this group of characters and this situation, that kind of stuff, I'm just like,
You're like, it probably doesn't
What was it
matter
all
to the
for?
story. You're like, it probably doesn't
I wish
matter
I
to
was
the
on
story.
all
I'll
wrong.
just pretend like
Like,
it didn't happen. Because I'll just let it go because it doesn't matter. That's what I do. On the surface, Luke, Pliff, Santor, and the others go. Oh yeah, Kiro is like with Danny for real. Like Danny's like not doing good, so she's like holding on to Kiro because he kind of looks like Luke. Back on the surface,
I mean, that's literally it.
Luke, Pliff, Santor, and the others, they go check out in the ruins. They're like the ancestors left behind dreadful weapons. And he's like, they're probably not active, but, you know, whatever. And so he goes to the entrance. He finds some defense field. He's able to disable it with the Force. And then it reveals this carving that shows like marbles.
This was kind of sick. This sequence, this hit the old Echidna, where it's like Luke being like, hold on, and like doing a thing and then like flashily taking it out. I was like, yeah.
He's getting his superhero back.
Kidula is just
Ever since
getting me every
2017,
time.
perfect.
Ever since 2017,
It's
he's been
perfect.
looking for strong Luke, but he's finally got him.
I'm fully aware that I have a weak spot for Jedi like Master Luke. He's like a hero to me, and I'm just so you know, we have years of this together, and I'm gonna be this bitch
liking stuff
100% of the time.
Liking stuff is not a weakness. It's okay to be excited. I'm not.
I just like.
You just need to get used to that. Like anytime he does anything remotely cool, I'm gonna be like,
I love Jedi Master Luke.
You think that's finally going to start happening?
it is happening.
Yeah. Okay. Luke removes the defense field. The marble sculpture shows up. They're like, okay, we're like scientist artists, and this scientist artist guy that built this is a nihilist. And
He subscribed to the philosophy
he's
of
a nihilist.
nihilism.
And so basically what this machine does is it smashes every planet in the universe together like marbles, and it creates a cascading event that destroys the entire universe.
I love that too. Illustrated, he's like, "Hey, let me see your prayer beads."
Yeah.
And then, like, could you imagine if
Destroys
somebody's like,
Those are my family's prayer
You didn't say,
beads.
what the fuck, dude? I would be so
Why
pissed.
did you break my prayer beads?
You don't need to do that. You can just use your words.
So they find a door. They find a unique
Santor,
door.
you piece of shit.
They open a power cell. They open it. They find a power cell.
Dude.
Luke asks Pliff to suck the power cell because even though Pliff was full already, I guess he didn't. It's fine.
He's like, suck it.
Yeah.
Pliff.
So Pliff sucks the energy. It works. Everybody hugs, and then Santor's like, "It's not over yet because if you don't turn it off, it's gonna blow up everything." Ah! And then Luke sees a trapdoor, and he and Kiro go off, and they find this big chamber filled with water, which is perfect because Kiro is like Fluke Skywalker, and he tells Luke to stay behind, and he's like, "What? No!" And he's like, "Let me." He like pulls a gun on Luke, right?
Yeah.
And which is super weird.
I like this sequence is kind of cool.
He takes he takes his lightsaber, uses it as a light. He sees this like crazy face underwater for like 1 second and slashes it.
They like do not address that, and I actually think it's cooler that there's just a giant robot, Andros, and
Under
he
there,
like
yeah.
turns and slashes and
It almost
That's it.
feels like it's like a hallucination or something. Like he saw the devil for a second and sliced him, but it causes a giant tidal wave. The sounds happen. Everybody else in the other room notices. Everything goes dark. The doorway to the water room opens. There's bright light. Luke comes out with Kiro. Everybody thinks Kiro's dead, but he's actually alive. Pliff realizes he's alive, and that's fine.
it's funny because it's like, oh, he's got some like life force going on, and we're gonna save him, but it's like you should leave him in the water.
He's a
Like
fucking
famous,
fish.
like
Yeah.
you just like have them come to you. Like don't go. He's gonna die right now.
But he lived. It's all good. It's
Does
all
he
good.
live?
Yeah, he lives.
Crazy that the scientist, like it's like the Death Star kind of thing or something where it's like, well, I'm glad that you weren't depressed enough to use it, but did you have to build it and turn it, like have it be one button away from destroying the entire universe?
Kinda
Because
badass.
that's like crazy to me.
If everybody follows the rules, like in Japan where they throw stuff away, like, you know, it's kind of cool.
In Japan, they throw away like fully
Trash.
utilizing
Just stuff that you're supposed
And-
to throw away. They just follow the rule. Like, if you just put instructions, there's many nations in the world where the people just read the instructions and then just, it's fine.
What does that have to do with this? Are you saying like if they read his instructions, they would have been fine?
I'm saying it's kind of badass as a piece of art to just leave it ready to go at any time.
To just create it is cool, is what you're saying.
To create
Like don't annihilate the universe, but like the fact that you could,
the fact that it's so close to being able to be activated is like, to me, just makes it a better piece of art.
yeah.
Do you think that ancient
don't-
man
I
brought
don't-
chicks
look,
home
I
to
love-
like check out his nihilism?
Like
beads?
Halo,
If I made that, he would get so much tang.
I do love a good like cosmic level destruction plan from a forerunning species. I just thought it was pretty lame that it's like it's basically like it turns the thing and it says it travels through hyperspace at sublight speeds and then it will collide into a planet and that will set off an unending chain of collisions that will lead to a new big bang. But
Just
it's
like prayer beads, dude.
That's not how, like, if you just crashed all the planets into each other, you would just create like you wouldn't reset the universe. You just break all of the planets.
How do you know?
I think what they were trying to say is,
What?
How
I
do you
think
know,
what they were
dog?
trying to say is that it would fly very fast, like a marble, hit another marble, and they'd all start hitting. This is a kind of end of universe thing.
Saying that it's traveling in hyperspace at sublight speed is be like you're walking on a freeway. Like what does that mean?
But it's
why
like-
did you say hyperspace at sublight speed?
He didn't know. He made it up.
But I imagine
Are
what
you
would
just
happen
using
is
words
it would
that you like heard somebody
Yes,
else say?
Yes.
is they would all bounce off of each other and then it would like speed up over time.
Yeah.
It's just the worst version of ending the universe because it would take millennia for it to even like to
One
travel to hit planets. It would the plan.
One day
would
I'm just going to
take
be eating.
longer.
I'm going to be drinking my coffee
the
one
heat
day.
death of the
He's like,
universe
the
would
end of the
happen.
world begins now. I mean, it's gonna take about 7 billion years,
But
but
just you
today,
wait.
I'll be drinking my coffee and then like fucking Venus just like fucking shows up, annihilates us, traveling at like sub space speeds.
like let's say 250 miles an hour.
it'd be
Like
devastating.
slower than it just travels through
We would
space
die.
like
We
an
would
orbit.
die. The atmosphere would burn us all up before the planet
But I was trying to, his whole plan of it's going to be a new universe. I was like, the only way this makes sense is if the implication is planets keep hitting each other over and over and over again, so they speed up like atoms.
Imagine those last two
And then-
planets.
Is that what he said? I thought it was just they all collide. Like it collides, setting off a chain reaction of collisions that like destroys all the planets.
That's what I'm saying. The chain reaction
It would
then
just take
speed up.
forever. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that was supposed to continue to ping pong.
Oh,
but he also was like,
that's my assuming because he's like, and then a new universe.
Big
I'm
Bang.
like,
because before he showed that, he was talking about like he believed that you could genetically or you could engineer a better Big Bang, but it's like you didn't describe what you were like gonna see. You just
it makes no sense. You're
They
right.
know
It is
things-
a
maybe
dumb plan.
They know things
maybe
we
he
don't
was
know.
a crazy guy. Maybe he actually wasn't like nihilistic in an intentional smart way. Maybe he was just a nutbag.
That
Yeah.
makes it even cooler.
And you guys like shouldn't just let people.
That's
do
more
this
accurate.
Kind of stuff.
That's more
Maybe
accurate.
it's good that Krypton isn't around anymore.
That's more accurate to who holds the keys to our existence now. If he's not even really a smart guy.
You know what's hilarious is it's almost like look throughout history, and I'm sure you could find a couple examples, but it's like scientists who are like, hey, let's not do this for this reason. Like, this is bad. Like, we have to make this tech, but it's like not the scientists who are also like, and let's use it to kill everybody.
Yeah, Oppenheimer. Yeah, perfect example. Stardust. What's his name?
Right. Galen Erso.
Galen Erso. Another perfect example. All right. Final issue of
Good job,
this.
Galen, you genius.
Yeah.
Way to give them what they want.
Finally, a super weapon that can
And
cause some damage.
Do you realize, like, he hit a file in the, like, their whole computer? Like, if you were to just imagine what that would look like in, like, Windows 95, like,
In a
Galen's
folder?
a fucking idiot.
Maybe he
they didn't fix the plot
No,
hole.
'cause she
I
had to-
fucking hate.
She had to grab
It's
it.
so
She
stupid.
had to physically grab it.
You're right. It's worse. Like, it's not just. It's like you have to go
hidden.
find the computer
It's a
and
file.
get the file
Yeah.
from the computer.
Yeah, it's literally they did
She was, yeah,
Zoolander.
she was in the computer.
They did Zoolander for real. Number 88 is Figurehead. Mon Mothma and Leia arrive on planet Erdessa to meet with the governing
How'd
council.
they make the second like this? Like,
That's why it took so long. That's why it took so long.
No, because they made the second fucking test operational in like 2 years.
It's
in
bigger.
canon.
It's bigger.
Motherfucker.
Bigger. It's different. It's a completely
I
different
love that
design.
you're like, no, it's bigger. Yeah. Like, you know the square cubed rule?
Yeah.
Like, it being twice it doesn't mean that it's twice as much resources. It's like cubed as many resources. It's
spaced out.
Fucking nutso that they
That's
were
why
like,
they didn't finish.
we have to like go back and make this a plot hole that we fix instead of actually just.
There's a story that's being told because the first Death Star was just the right size, but they wanted to go bigger, but then they realized they didn't have enough resources to finish. They ran out of time, ran out of space, ran out of everything. That's why they didn't finish the second Death Star. Third time, they were like, let's just skip
Let's
a
just
step.
make it a
Let's
planet,
skip
guys.
a step. We're just going to do it. We're going to make it. It's going to already be made, and then we'll just make the gun.
And then the next step was like, let's just make the Star Destroyers actual Star Destroyers. Like, what kind of idiots are we? It was in the fucking name the whole time. And they're like, you're right, Palpatine. Are you okay? You are a claw machine.
No, but this is the Death Star. No, this is the Death Star.
Yeah, but they're Star Destroyers.
Yeah, no.
It's been lying in plain sight.
No, don't you get it? This one's the Death. So this one.
What's even funnier is we get to the point where we have Death Stars, Star Destroyers, and
Sun Crushers.
And the time that they finally bring an actual Star Destroyer, they call it the Sun Crusher.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Which honestly,
Welcome aboard the Light Muncher.
maybe they all have the same name.
It gobbles up all light in the galaxy.
Maybe in basic, it's all one. Maybe it's all one phrase in basic, but we just
Right. Yeah.
like the English puts like different stinks on it depending on the context. Mon Mothma and Leia are on Erdessa to meet with the governing council. Leia gets off the ship and everybody's like booing at her and stuff. And the council's like, "Hey, don't worry, you're going to be the planetary
Moth
security."
was like, welcome to being a diplomat.
Yeah,
She gets like mud flung on. Leia gets mud flung on her. But that looks like Dookie.
Yeah.
She looks like it
she looks
stank.
like she knows it's Dookie, but they're like, "Don't worry, we have this like security like person, Lumia, who's going to protect you." But the thing that's weird is that on the cover of this comic book, it says that she's going to replace Darth Vader, even though she is just like a mall cop, basically.
Sexy Darth Vader, please.
Right? Yeah. Dot Matrix from Spaceballs.
I'm not like, into robots, but I guess I would say like, I would be like, you know what? I could see that the design here was like, make it hot like a little bit,
It genuinely is when you watch a cosplayer do like a sexy Darth Vader. That's the whole vibe.
Yeah.
There's nothing else going on here. It's like, okay.
Leia's confused as to why they would expect there to be activity at like a beautiful paradise. She's like, here's her droids. This is when she gets hit in the head with the mud. Lumia is like, go find and kill whoever threw that mud.
Also, is there ever an explanation for why Leia gets hit and shit on, but like no one touches Mon Mothma?
No.
Just probably luck of the toss.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Then Brillin, who's like a condescending rich man, appears, asks Mothma to come with him to discuss matters at hand. When Leia asks why like the people can't be part of it, the man's like, oh, please, these people don't know nothing. They like us to rule them. It's better that way. And they're like, oh, fuck. So Mothma and Leia are at like a banquet. There's like weird, creepy guys feeding them. They're like full. They're tired of partying. They're like, do you want to fuck anyone? And they're like, what? And they're like, yeah, like we got all kinds of people that want to do all kinds of stuff, even Zeltrons.
They like don't say fuck, but like they like triple. There's like panels of doubling down.
Like,
of being
do you
like,
mean
there's company with males you can work out
Leia's like
stuff.
I gotta go. Leia's like, I'm going for a walk. This is fucking weird. So she's walking and she runs into the droids and she tells them that she needs some quiet time. So they come with her. And C-3PO just never stops talking.
They almost do a bit here, but then they get sidetracked by plot. But like, I just need like a moment to think by myself. And it's like, that's great. Sometimes a refreshing walk by yourself where all you do is think and no one else is talking. And it's just your own voice and no one else's voice is there. Yeah. But like, they never go any further.
It would have played better in a movie.
Yeah.
Leia is like, I don't know why everybody's trying to like pamper us so much. We haven't been able to do anything. 3PO's like, that's just diplomacy, bro. Leia's like, you know what? I liked being a fucking killer secret agent more than I liked being a princess.
This is like a cool, quiet moment that you don't normally get in this where like,
especially with Leia and 3PO.
She's been like radicalized and so that like once it gets back to like, what do you mean? Do you just like eat and talk? And it's like, this doesn't feel like, no.
Right. So then Leia walks by and she sees that this like hot Darth Vader chick has captured one of the,
also we missed the like implied racism, or there was a line where like we have Zeltronian men, and she's like, "No, sorry, I've had like enough, of that for now." And then Mon Mothma's like, "I never expected that of Leia." Is the implication that it's like she like fucked it a lot, or like
I think she's just
or is
like,
the implication like, oh, you're a little
weird that she's
racist
racist
against
against
Wasn't there
Zeltronians.
in the previous set of comics when they went to that one planet and there was just like a bunch of
she got turned on by the red dude. Yeah.
She like one time looked at a dude and had to like.
She was like, oh no.
But I think that was just a joke about Danny.
Like she and Danny had a bunch of like.
Yeah, I think it was just a joke about Danny. Yeah.
Right, but I'm saying like, is Mon Mothma like her like thought bubble is like, I would not have expected that from Leia, that she like boned down.
I think it was racism. I think she thinks it was like.
They don't like explain.
It's weird.
Neither of which is like great, but I'm like,
I think she hates. Oh, that's weird that she hates those guys. That's kind of fucked up. So in the tunnel, Lumia has one of the protesters. Like I said, Leia walks by. She's like, "What the fuck are you doing? This not. You don't kill someone for throwing dirt at someone." And the protester's like, "Why did you throw it? Like, what's going on?" And the robot gets more aggressive. Leia tries to get in between her and the robot. The protester like actually distracts because the protester also has no faith that Leia is actually there to help her. The protester kind of is like, oh shit, she actually fucking distracted her for a second. So she gets away and the cyborg takes a shot at the running away person, but Leia's like, no! And then like chases after her and Lumia's like...
She like judos her, right? Doesn't she like... use her weight to like flip her?
Yeah. So now Lumia just decides Leia is like an enemy combatant no matter what. And so they're like chasing now. She's with Suzu, who is the...
You accidentally like bump into a cop in GTA and you got a bunch of stars.
I have some...
And then you just kill a couple of them more and a fucking hill. It's like, chill out.
They won't leave you alone.
That's like what it is to be in Night City.
I'm trying to get mine.
Driving a fucking auto car in Night City in Cyberpunk and you like tapping the corner of a police car and suddenly there's like... So the princess finds
there.
Yeah, suddenly. The princess finds herself with Suzu and the protesters who don't want to give her any information because they really don't think that she's going to help them. Leia's like, fucking give me your gun. We're on the same side. Like, fuck you. Like,
They try to threaten her, and she is threatened 0
she's
degrees.
like, fuck, I don't play like this. Yeah.
The underground people remind me, like, I feel like 90s or even 80s, like Demolition Man. There's a like exact underground vibe and look.
Yeah.
Total Recall, like
Brazil.
It's just like kind of dirty, kind of wearing like utilitarian work clothes with like a slight sci-fi.
That's the underground.
bent.
Yeah, underground. Yeah.
Mothma is with the guild still. She says she's going to go look for Leia. They can discuss the Alliance's plans in the morning. But they're like, you know what? We actually don't care. We're going to do our own plan that's better for us. And the rebels are like, something's about to happen. Here comes an attack. The guild guards come in. They're going to try and take the rebels alive. They're outnumbered, but Leia escapes, and the droids
This is a big
captured.
splash page where like people are just getting like
This is cool.
murdered. It's pretty like
It's awesome.
it's like this is actually kind of serious. I guess like looking at we have like some jokey runs, and then we do have ones that are like on a similar intensity that like the Ellie one was, where like there's not really like jokes here. It's a pretty serious look at like how this kind of government gets established, the like way they do it, and then how they like murder people.
I do think
insane. Everybody's like dying.
I do think the reading age is going up, and that it is getting serious across the board. I think that they're shaking off some goofiness.
I will withhold judgment.
Yeah.
It's just the last episode we had like Rick being like,
I'm with you. I still think there's going to be zaniness, and Star Wars never escapes the zaniness the entire time that it exists. But I do think that they are trying to do adult things from time to time. Leia's in the streets of Herdessa. The people seem to be shutting her out, even the middle class. She tries to go find Mon Mothma, but it's very quiet on the streets suddenly, and she decides to go back and check if somebody's on her tail. Mothma has been captured. She realizes that this whole planet is slavers, and that's what's going on here. She's like, I'm going to tell everybody, and you guys are going to be so fucked. Leia sees the troopers with the guards and realizes that the slavers are working with the Empire already, which is fucked. Lumia has taken all the citizens to the streets. She's calling all the citizens to come to the center of the city because she's going to start killing people otherwise.
Leia like goes to the middle class is what she says. So like, and she has like the Bloodborne when you go to like the any door and they're like, get out of here. Like, it's like, crazy.
She's like, if you don't bring me the princess in 2 minutes, I'm just going to start killing people. Leia is watching from the sidelines. She tells Suzu she has a plan, even though Suzu's like, come on, just give up. Mothma's telling the citizens that they got to fight their oppressors or they're going to stay oppressed. The prisoner says, you're a talkative slave.
Dude, she is like, Mom Mothma like has a good speech, and then they're just like, well, shut the fuck up.
For slave speeches.
Yeah.
One of the troopers hears this, shoves the prisoner, shoves him back. Lumia sees this, decides to just kill the dude. Suzu jumps out from the bushes to stop Lumia from doing that. Finn is the prisoner that is about to be killed, who is ostensibly the same name as Finn from Star Wars, and tells her where Leia is.
You think that J.J. Abrams read this and was like, yeah.
It could be where he got the name.
Like if they could pull the Last Jedi from that other issue,
It could be where he got. It could be where he got the name at the very least.
Finn is just a name that is a Star Wars name, even though it's a human name.
Yeah. She jumps out. She tells her where Leia is, except she's not there. Leia pops in from the other side, shoots a guard in the back, shoots Lumia in the chest. Lumia, like, apparently she hits like a fucking gas tank.
She like lives, I guess, but it looks like she was like, and that's a wrap on New Darth
Blew her
Vader.
body apart. It looked like, but she lives. The guards are closing in. Leia shoots Finn's binders, hands him a gun. They get everybody out. More and more slaves are appearing. Suddenly, citizens realize we might beat the fascists and start fighting. And after that, they defeat the slavers. Leia tells Suzu and Finn that she isn't sure where Lumia went after she shot her, and the two promise to keep an eye out for her. Mon Mothma tells Leia it's time to go, inform the rebels that there are Imperials.
Get the fuck out of here.
She's like, we got to go tell them that there's Imperials working with slavers here, which is crazy. And we see Lumia watching from the trees. And that's the cliffhanger for this comic.
maybe. What the crazy thing about the last few that we read is they will be like cliffhanger and then 3 issues of nothing associated with it. then we jump back into it. I don't know what is this 89 is going to end up being. I couldn't even tell you.
There's going to be about 20 issues of this comic left, so we'll see.
The Lumia bullshit is like you oversold her to like get people to buy.
On the cover,
she's
you definitely
so
oversold her.
not a threat that Leia weaponless bodied her. Like
She does shoot lasers out of her hands.
This is a long tradition in Star Wars, though. Captain Phasma, Boba Fett, Darth Maul.
you're right, it rhymes.
It's
It's
General
like
Kenobi. That guy,
I don't
same
know
thing.
that she's that cool looking. She's
not
the comics,
cool looking.
And these are not the first comics to like lie to you with the cover or
Yes.
other stuff. It's just like she isn't cool and she's depowered. Like, don't bring her back. She doesn't have the backstory.
Maybe she
Like,
gets. Maybe this is her backstory though. Maybe when she comes back, she's like gonna be the
a
Emperor's
lot of
hand.
maybe he's
Or you
carrying
know what?
that.
It's like Valance or whatever was like
cyborg.
he was like part of the Empire and then he like became a free agent. Now this is her being a free agent.
That was pretty
but-
crazy that they brought Valance back in the Disney Star Wars comics. But yeah,
Did he have a sick fight with Vader?
he does. We read it, I think.
No, we read the
Maybe I just read it in a.
we read
the
one
original
that's
one
in
is
this.
like tight.
I think I just read the actual comics myself. They were good though. This is volume 5 of the original Marvel years. I had a good time with this one. I enjoyed it a lot more than the newspaper strips in terms of storytelling. But there was stuff to like about the newspaper strips too. But
Yes, there's stuff in here that's great.
I think the best thing about the newspaper strips was like that the reading the thing that contextualized what they were doing, and that it evolved from truly nothing stories to tying into the movies still more accurately than this stuff does. So that was like, and that their rate of play was such that the goofiness was not. There were times where I was like, I am too deep into like Drebble nonsense. Like, I cannot wait for this to be over because I just like, this is not a good storyline to me. I like it. It's a bummer that all of these things are connected and they don't make any sense.
It's weird. There's a lot of stuff in here I love, but there's also a lot of stuff in here that I'm like, I could do without this. But I guess that's the point
like
of a
what
comic.
and that's what they're gonna do.
Yeah,
they're gonna take
it's
some
kind
stuff
of a bummer
and-
because I know what I like, and reading through stuff where I'm like, I know I'm gonna hate this, but I'm doing it for the show. But also like, all right, let's just get it over with.
Yeah. Guys, coming up next, we didn't put out as many episodes as we would have liked this month, so we decided to swip around the Q&A and this episode so that we could like give you guys a proper episode, big chunker on our coming back. Up next comes a Q&A, like we said last time. Then we're like right in it. We're in Ewok Town.
Wait, I thought we have comics again.
There are more comics in the
They're not
reading
next.
order, but they are not next.
Ew.
Yeah, so we're doing a Q&A, then we got like some movies, which means that the patrons are going to be getting some extra watch-alongs. And then
Oh shit! It's like you're there with us.
and then somewhere
Future.
somewhere in
past.
the mix of all of those
Or-
things, there will also be a collection of Inside
present.
the Insider.
When will then be now? Soon.
You doing Spaceballs bits right now?
Yeah, we're doing Spaceballs bits.
Yeah, so check it out. There's going to be an Inside the Insider collection somewhere in there where we go into the Lucasfilm Fan Club magazine, which will eventually become the Star Wars Insider. It's almost about to become the Star Wars Insider. There's only like 3 or 4 issues left before it does.
Hell yeah.
So we're getting there in real time, but these are going to be a lot older. So go check those out. Patreon.com/SWOCBC. Thank you for listening so much. Ewoks ahoy, dude. Get ready.
And watch out, dude. Those Jawas got mean. You see a Jawa, you don't be a hero. You turn
Off
and
the
you
chain.
run.
Oh, and let me just say,
Utini.
if you want to ask us a question, that's not a privilege. That's only for patrons. There's the discussion questions that patrons get to talk about, where we talk about the stuff that we read. But if you just want to ask us a question, there's always going to be
Ask away.
There's always going to be a form on our Patreon that is free. You don't have to be a paid member. I don't even think you have to be a free member. You can just click the link. But go check that out and ask us some questions and let us know that you want us to read them on the air, because we want to read them, and that's what's coming up next. So we'll talk to you guys soon.
Bye.
The Star Wars Old Canon Book Club is made possible by contributions from our listeners at patreon.com/SWOCBC. Thank you for your support. This month's Patreon Masters of the Force are Ian Berenier, Trevor Isom, Patrick Rowland, Amy Wakai, Jazz Owl, Peacetime Mando, and Metroid Mike. Thanks for listening. We'll be back soon with a discussion about our next selection, Caravan of Courage, an Ewok Adventure, a TV special from director John Corti. This episode was edited by Alex Del Campo and Alex Fasciani. The theme song is Venus, the Bringer of Peace by Gustav Holst, performed by the U.S. Air Force Heritage of America Band. Original show art by Jackie Whistler. See you next time.